when you elevate. They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate. They hate when you elevate.
All right. What's good, Ray Davis? Oh, Ray Davis is not here. Okay, he had to step out for a second. Salute to the room. What's up, Stop Motion? What's good? Ordinary M. What's good in the building? Hope everybody's been is having a great start of their week. This is my weekend. You know what I'm saying? This is when I'm actually off, so I'm enjoying my day. Salute Mahat Gene, Egypt. I said Gene, Jesus. Salute Mahat Egypt. Ray Davis is back. Salute, Ray.
Yes. Apologize. Salute, Clay. Had to run and handle something with the kid real quick.
That's usually what it is. That should ends up happening. Yeah, this is the beginning. This is my weekend. And what, boxing is me. First of all, how's your week been? First of all, how was your weekend? Your weekend that you're actually just leaving. Anything productive happened for you?
My real weekend was cool.
It was good.
A couple things happened. Watched the fight this weekend. Both fights, the zone and top rank. Pretty good action.
Right.
And that, you know what I mean? Did the usual. That's it. Hang out with the fam.
All right. Oh, my son is showing me something. That's not the case over here. Yeah. My son was showing me something. My bad. Yeah, I mean, my weekend was what it was, right? We running, we pushing. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Richard Paris? Popping by to salute y'all. Good evening, fellas. Salute, Richard Paris. We appreciate you popping up on us. Yes, got a couple of things to talk about today. A lot of man. The thing about our situation is we come on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? So a week could go by, things are happening, right? And it's like everybody's jumping on it. You know what I mean? I'll try to drop like a little video or something on it, but it just like the week was just a very eventful week from last from last Friday till today, right?
Right.
I mean, you got crazy press conferences. We got fights that happened during the week. We got people who are leaving, going from one promotional platform to another one, then coming back to the promotional platform they was at. Everybody thought PBC was broke. Looks like PBC's found a way to get it back, to push the fights together. There's so much going on. I mean, great fights also that happened over the weekend. Let me see. Richard Parr says, how about it? Seems PBC's showing to have the deepest pockets in these boxing streets. Yeah, I mean, they look like they got some money to throw their fights. I don't know if they're the deepest pockets, but I mean, time will tell. We'll find out. You know, I mean, as long as they start putting out schedules and we start seeing these fights, it looks like they got enough, to say the least, right? to put together the one of the biggest fights. Well, supposedly, right? But right now, one of the biggest fighters they're putting out there. But I heard there was some rumors that they possibly also contracted Canelo Alvarez to potentially be facing David Benavidez in that agreement, which I think is epic. So shout out to the PBC. Yeah, like I always say, a friend of mine told me, and you guys know who the friend is. He always tells me boxing, things change quickly in boxing, and I added to it and how quickly they are changing. You know what I'm saying? This 1 minute's like this, the next minute's like that. You know what I mean? Right. Richard Packard, more than the Zone and Golden Boy. Maybe. At least they're willing to pay more than the Zone and the Golden Boy. That's for sure. That's a minimum that we understand that. So a lot to talk about as well. We had some great fights this weekend. We had Raymond Ford pull off I was almost going to say a comeback victory, but it depends on how you look at it. But it was a movie style victorious victory that he had. Great fight. I think he had some adversity that he had overcome in that fight, and we'll talk about that as well. And then we have some sparring, right? We have some sparring footage that dropped and seems to shaking the space up. Everybody seems very concerned about what's going on in that sparring footage. Very telling sparring footage from what I understand. Right. And I definitely have some questions for the space on as far as how we feel about that. Are people actually interested in seeing a fight now, or is this just going to be about this sparring footage? We'll talk about all those things. And of course, coming up on Friday, we have a big event coming up. Riyadh season back at it again. Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua on Friday. Going to square up and handle business. And we also got got a pretty decent card on that as well. But I mean, obviously the co-main event and the main event are the big ones. You got Anthony Joshua and Ngannou on the main event, and then you have Zhang Zhang and Joseph Parker on the co-main event. So great fight. So where do we start? Where do we begin, Ray?
I want to talk about. Go ahead.
What do you want? Go ahead. No, what do you want to talk about? Get at it. What's up? What do you want to start?
The biggest thing to me was this whole weekend, I think, was Amanda Serrano not able to fight because of something wrong with her eye. I thought that was big news that just got overlooked over a lot of things, especially with the tape and the mental illness thing as a sidebar. And Jake Paul with the first round knockout, and the guy before him with a first round knockout. I think that got overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely want to touch on that.
Yeah, let me see. Yurt said, I heard Ryan ain't miss a day in training. That boy clout chasing, what a weirdo. I mean, yeah, like you said, Yurt also said start with Ryan so y'all can make it short. Nobody care about that clown.
You know what? All right, we can do that.
Let's talk about Ryan Garcia. So, guys, what do we know about Ryan Garcia? So, since the last time we had a live, Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have had 2 press conferences. One of them being in New York, which was pretty lackluster. It was pretty, Ryan tried to put some entertainment in it and and make a spectacle of it. But at the end of the day, it was it was a press conference. What do we expect from a press conference anyway, right? When we look at a press conference, what are we trying to see? Who's going to talk the most ish? What are we actually looking for? I've never thought about it until I saw this press conference, and I was like, it was kind of lackluster. I'm like, man, maybe I was looking for some stuff in press conferences that I wasn't aware of until I saw one that left me feeling like I didn't see nothing. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, right? So it was a lackluster press conference to say the least. But then they moved the press conference over to Los Angeles, and things got stirred up a little bit in Los Angeles. It was an interesting press conference. To say the least. It was an interesting press conference. Was it a good press conference, Ray? What do you think? Do you think it was a great press conference?
I think I actually thought both of them were pretty decent. I don't think it was like, like something that was. I think you had one team really trying to bring energy for one thing. I think the first night Ryan was on the first one, New York. He was on. The second one, we just had a change of pace and some things got a little weird. What's up, Big Dre? And then it turned into what it turned into, and now we have what we have, and it's like, what really happened? You know what I mean?
Right. It was a lot of things that happened in that press conference. I think it was one of those I think it was one of those press conferences where you expected it to be about boxing, and you wanted these guys like go down their accolades, and you expected maybe Ryan Garcia to throw shots at Devin Haney. Not being who he says he was, maybe, and how he was going to devastate him. And you definitely expected Devin Haney to point out certain holes in Ryan Garcia's game. I definitely expected Devin Haney to address the whole entire sobriety thing, right? As far as, you're saying you're smoking weed, you're posting a picture up with a joint in your mouth. You're talking about drinking, comparing yourself to greats that drank and smoked before you, saying that it wasn't going to be an issue. And, I think Devin Haney started to feel a little slighted as far as like, at the end of the day, when you have fights like this, guys, I think it's fair to say that both fighters expect each other to kind of hold up their end of the bargain as far as promotion is concerned, as far as, making people, bringing eyes to the fight and making people want to watch the fight. So it seems like Devin Haney was more so disappointed in Ryan Garcia's antics. He felt like it was taking away from the fight. Like, you're telling people you're smoking weed, you're drinking. It's bad enough everybody already thinks you're going to lose anyway, but now you're making it look like you're going to lose almost on purpose, and not even making people question as to whether or not you're going to make it to the fight or not, when you compound it with the fact that you already pulled out of our negotiation before when we were trying to put it together at first. So everything's real sensitive, and it seems like Devin Haney wanted to point that out on Ryan Garcia. Almost make him commit to the fight a little bit more than he seems like he was committing, and questioning him about cocaine usage and all types of things. I expected that from Devin Haney. I think the curveball came from Ryan Garcia, kind of owning everything like he did. And I think we said this before on Blue's platform, right? That this dude's a little too transparent, right? Like he just, if it's on his mind, he's gonna let it rip.
Yeah.
So he decided to own what he was doing, how he was living, and basically try to get the crowd to kind of empathize with him, with his position. So, spoke about his age. talk about his age and how he made a lot of money in a small amount of time, and trying to get everybody to understand like it's not easy doing this thing, being a 25-year-old guy with $100 million in his bank account who could do whatever he wants. Try to get everybody to empathize. He said some significant things. I think people missed it because the next day, ultimately, the video was dropped and people just didn't pick up on the defile thing. Like he said, when I was a child, I was defiled as a baby. I think people just kind of let that go over their head, right? Shout out here for boxing. And people let that go over his head. He also mentioned that, you know, the difficulties he had and basically try to bring Jesus into the room. You know, he didn't talk not one bit about no boxing. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say one thing about no boxing. So I think that threw everybody for a curve a little bit. And I think another curveball was Arnold Barboza being on the panel. I think that was like another curveball where it was, what is this guy doing on the what is he doing up here? Is this the press conference for the whole card, and where's his dance partner? If he is going to be fighting, who's he fighting against? So seeing Arnold Barboza get brought up to the podium and him basically just making it clear that he was here to cover up any potential holes. If any of these guys, and he tried to keep it neutral. If any of these guys don't show up, I'll be there to give either one of these guys better competition they would give each other, right? Shout out to Arnold Barboza, you know what I'm saying?
Stepping up, right?
But, yeah, right? But at the end of the day, I think everybody who watched the press conference, we already knew Devin was showing up. Nobody for 1 minute entertained the fact that Arnold Barboza was coming there to potentially replace Devin Haney if he didn't show up. It was clear as to who he was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about Ryan Garcia. This guy, you know, it just kind of doubled down on what we all were feeling as to, is Ryan Garcia going to make it that night? And clearly the promotional company, Oscar, Bernard Hopkins, the guys who were heading the whole entire marketing for this thing, had concerns as well, to the point where they brought Arnold Barboza into the picture for just in case. That had to be awkward even for Ryan Garcia, right? At that point, to see that, man, once again, the people who are supposed to have faith in me, right, who's supposed to be promoting me, they are doubting me, right? You guys went and got Arnold Barboza because you don't think I'm going to show up to do the job, and now you got Devin Haney throwing shots at me. I felt like Ryan Garcia was feeling attacked a little bit. He felt a little. You could see it on his face, right? Did you see it on his face? Right.
I started watching some Dora Explorer stuff after that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he was off. He was off.
What's up, Jose? What's up here for boxing?
Fiction. So, you know, and then at that point, it looked like Bill Haney doing what Bill Haney does. He saw that the press conference was lackluster, and that, you know, I think he understood that Ryan threw the energy off, and here he comes trying to address Henry Garcia, about what Henry Garcia may have been saying to him, about him being a pimping his son. He decided to address that situation when it was his time to be on there, and him and Henry Garcia got into it, and Henry Garcia had some choice words for Bill Haney at that point. It was awkward and weird, but, you know, at the end of the day, you want to charge it off to, like, yo, this is what happens at these press conferences. It can get heated, and things can be said, right? So we accept that. So now Devin Haney gets his opportunity to come on the stage to speak, and he's basically trying to highlight, you know, trying to get, once again, just highlight to Ryan Garcia, like, bro, I need you to step it up. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you going to make it to this fight? What he's trying to figure out, what is Ryan Garcia's strategic game plan? Are you serious about this? Because I'm serious about this. The mother gets in, you know, interrupts Devin and gets into it a little bit with them. Bill Haney gets into it with the mother, and then ultimately with Henry. Henry, you know, we all know about the nappy-headed motherfucker comment. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, take it for what you want to take it for. But at the end of the day, we know what the term is a triggering word. It's a triggering terminology for Black people in America, right?
And another thing to double down on, they did say, again, they were the judges and officials for that fight.
Oh, right.
And they count. And there was no denying it for the second time. So,
right.
Yeah, just want to say that was one victory right there.
Yeah, and it did seem as if Bill Haney was also trying to double down on it as well to make it clear, and I think that also was a big trigger in the Garcia family reaction, the way they kind of got very confrontational. It seemed like when he was heading down that road that they were really trying to curve the whole energy as far as calling Ryan Garcia some sort of drug addict, and B, also stop the narrative of the only reason there were these victories in the amateurs may have had something to do with their influence, their ability to kind of pull the trigger on certain decisions being made. Right. So ultimately, Devin, Bill started talking about Henry's toupee, and Henry, reacted and let him know, you got a nappy head though. So what are we talking about? Choice words, like I said, but Bill is a grown man. He could defend himself. He don't need no defending. Me personally, I thought it was more awkward from my perspective for Derek and Bernard. That's who I kind of was like, man, they got to like kind of sit next to this situation and they got to kind of deal with it. I'm like, they're really getting put in an awkward situation. It wasn't so much about Bill Haney, because Bill got tough skin. He out there throwing rocks. He ready to get some rocks thrown back at him. But and then that happened, right? So ultimately, coming full circle, there's a face-off. Devin and Ryan do a face-off. I think right at that point, you saw, in my opinion, at that point, I saw the loss on Ryan Garcia's side. He lost the press conference right there. He pretty much walked away, seemed like he was going to explode, lose his mind. Keeping in mind, of course, he even got into it with people inside of the audience. And I felt like what I saw in that whole entire press conference was Ryan Garcia was off his rocker. He was off his focus. He wasn't focused on the fight. He never spoke on the fight. I saw Derek James multiple times trying to reel him back in when he was getting out of it. You know what I'm saying? I saw Bernard Hopkins sitting there trying to bring Henry Garcia back in. It looked like the whole entire Garcia team was thrown off. I think they were just not prepared. I think Ryan Garcia thought when he explained himself that he was going to get more of the crowd on his side, and I think he was shocked as to how not receptive everybody was to him owning up to smoking the weed and drinking, and I think the defile thing when he said he was defiled as a baby. I think I was talking to a good friend today who should be coming on the show a little bit later today. I won't mention her name, right, until she comes up. But, saying that, I think Ryan might have been affected a little bit by the fact that everybody missed the defiled thing, right? Like when he said, I was defiled, nobody reacted to it. Everybody just kind of got past it. It was just kind of like nobody, there's a lot of people, like a lot of people didn't, right? A lot of people didn't realize he was talking about the defilement thing until he came out today talking about he was raped as a child. People were like, what? Where is this coming from? And I'm like, yo, bro, he told you guys this is the press conference. He told you he was defiled as a baby, as a child. He was defiled. He told you guys that. Yeah. I think Ryan was a little thrown off by the lack of interest in that topic in him. And he thought he was going to get more empathy from the crowd, I think. And combine that with Devin Haney cutting him off, not letting him speak, calling him a drug addict, saying he sounds like he was on coke, asking him why his voice was so hoarse, just really attacking him with the questions like some crazy journalist who just sniffed 3 lines of cocaine in the back and was coming to get Ryan's head. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan pretty much just, at that point, at the end of that press conference, I was like, I don't know if this fight's going to happen no more. I don't know. How'd you think about it?
Same thing. I actually think it's going to happen. I think it's just smoke and mirrors. I think he just got he's self-promoting himself and other things. We talked about this earlier. I really don't want to give my opinion too much. I do think there's something wrong there, but I think that a lot of things it looks like they're backfiring rather than helping. And I think he's hurting the fight more than helping. And it may even cause him to pull out the fight, which he says he's not. Says he's still going to fight, but I think he's looking to be the victim here. That's all. And like I said, whether he is or not, and people feel that way, I just think it's a little bit overshadowing of what's going on with the fight, especially with boxing as a whole.
Right.
We'll see what happens. And go ahead. Build on it.
Yeah. I mean, and then ultimately, I was at that point, I started questioning how realistic this fight was going to become. I was just, thrown off myself by how the Garcia family just seemed in dysfunction and seemed like, thrown off a little bit, especially obviously the person who counts the most in the whole conversation, Ryan Garcia. even in Derek James' face, I started to question like how he felt about the situation. Like, did he feel like he got caught up in the biggest circus clown show he's been involved in the, you know what I'm saying, in
Right.
forever, or in never. Like, he's probably never been part of a show like this, and it was just getting out of hand. So days go by, and Ryan is periodically dropping crazy things on Twitter, right? He's speaking towards you know, he's speaking towards being kidnapped, and there were rumors of him being, you know, put inside of a mental institution. There was people trying to lock him up, his phone
Peace,
being locked.
Thomas Hill. Peace. Go ahead.
Peace, Thomas Hill. Salute. Peace to him, you know, losing his phone, losing access to his money. His ex-wife put out feelers out there for people to pray for her ex-husband because he's not playing and he's not trolling and he's really going through a real bad mental health issue.
Yeah.
The family, the brother has even put out feelers to say, hey man, I'm not even dealing with Ryan like that right now. I'm getting ready for my own fight, but you know, I mean, Ryan's a good guy, be patient with him, this, that, and the other. And just nothing is coming out of that camp that's making us feel better about this fight happening, right? And then Ryan, ultimately, the big thing that he did as of late is he got into a conversation with Andrew Tate, right? And basically is communicating that there's all types of like potential ceremonial rapings and things happening that he's a part of or he's a victim of, or
being forced to watch.
Yeah, being forced to watch. And he even said that he got raped and they tying him down, and Lord have mercy, it's getting crazy over there on the Garcia camp. And at the end of the day, as this all is compounding, once again, how likely is it for this fight to take place on April 20th at this point?
Still highly likely. I think again, I don't want to give too much away on my thoughts because, again, even though they're my opinions, it might be too soon to be speaking on things.
Right.
But at the same time, what I see is that, you know, we have to understand what this is. Like, it's a cry for help, one.
Right.
Number two, it is a little bit of an attention grabber.
Right.
And three, it's like, you know what I mean, something you need to deal with personally. Mm-hmm. And especially as a superstar or not, you don't want things like this publicly. Like, this is just a little strange to me, and it's coming out to be more maybe more hurtful for his career, possibly. And I don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Like there's people that have these situations that go on and they get put on stuff and then their career is different. I just don't want them to end up fighting and then the opponent gets blamed or he has an excuse of why this happened. And I just want it to be a nice, clean, and healthy fight. If they're not going to fight, we need to make the announcement soon. We don't need to wait till last minute. Things like that can be over the top. I mean, if you want to move on, I mean, speaking of fights being last minute,
a nice segue.
Perfect segue.
I'll close this part of it just to say that, first of all, mental health is a real thing. I don't take it lightly. I don't talk about it lightly. I'm not going to sit here and make fun. If Ryan Garcia really is suffering some sort of mental health episode, I hope he gets the help. His health should be the most important thing to him and his family, his children, his wife, ex-wife, whatever. That's the most important thing. As a boxing fan, though, separating myself from Ryan Garcia's personal life and understanding that I have no say in what he does in his personal life, what we're more so concerned about is the fight, a fight happening, but really we want this fight to happen, right? Devin Haney probably wants this fight to happen more than anybody else because this was actually going to be a huge fight for him, not as far as competition is concerned, but his ability to be seen by Ryan's fan base, right? To be part of a huge pay-per-view like Ryan and Gervonta had and be able to pump up his value so that he has more to offer when he comes to the table to negotiate potentially a Gervonta Tank Davis fight or whatever his next fight may be. So the concern has to be as to whether or not this fight's going to happen for those reasons. At the end of the day, I'm not very confident in this fight happening. I don't. If what is that's being said is true, if what's being said is true, I can't imagine Ryan Garcia being mentally fit, or I can't even imagine that while he's doing all this, that he's training regularly with Derek James and getting a good game plan going. I think time is ticking. It's not on the side of Ryan Garcia. It's not on the side of this fight.
Peace, Texas.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you know,
Go ahead. I'm just going to shout him out.
Sure. It's not on the side of this fight happening. And the next question is, what's going to be the next thing happening as far as, is it going to be an Arnold Barboza fight? Is it going to be an Arnold Barboza fight? And also, you know, another thing we haven't, I don't know, have you got any word on what the undercard is going to look like on this fight yet?
No, it was actually a mention of that. Big Dre actually threw that out there. Peace, Bradley 68. Yeah, no. I don't think anybody. There's so many fighters out there, man. I'm thinking we might get a couple light heavyweights or middleweights. We know Devin's Prodigy might be up there. Elisa Bargardner has been training with Devin, so I can probably see that. She is a product of the zone. She could be on the card, possibly, in a comeback fight. We don't know that. But as far as the smaller guys, they might be fighting. It might be a few of the smaller guys down there, like the bantamweights, flyweights, maybe. And then we might get like a middleweight or two fighting. We might get a welterweight and someone in the 140-pound division or 135-pound division coming up. I don't know. I just hope we get it soon, because we're getting closer to the fight. And, you know, usually they don't release this stuff till about 2 weeks out anyway, especially at a presser. Usually they don't throw everything. It's usually the main card and maybe possibly the co-main. And then they start throwing everybody else in the mix when it comes to the real press conference. But we'll see. They obviously got to put something together quick. So we'll see what's going on with that.
And I think and the main reason why I brought it up was just to say that this card hasn't even been put together properly yet. Ryan is a very vital part of this card coming together and being successful. I heard there was 10,000 plus tickets sold already to this fight. I don't know how many people are asking for refunds or what that situation might be looking like. You know, this Ryan Garcia thing could be stalling this up in a very, very crazy way. We'll see as it develops in the next coming days and as the weeks go by, see what's coming on. But I could tell you right now, as far as myself, I'm not very confident in this fight coming together. But we'll just see.
And to touch base real quick on what Thomas Hill said, he's I agree with him. I wouldn't say it has to be huge, because no one's going to be able to do what PBC has done with these mega cards that they did the last 2023. And Earl, I think it was the last fight was January. It's going to be hard to kind of reproduce that. I think they definitely won the war in 2023 of promotional companies. So I won't take that away from them. But it's going to be hard to compete with that, I think, for a lot of these companies. Top Rank's been holding their own. The Zone's been putting on some decent fights. So, you know what I mean, especially with a lot of these prospects and young fighters, we've been seeing some good fights. So, you know, as long as we keep seeing what we're seeing, we're good. That's the way I look at it.
Right. We'll see what happens. Hey guys, when you guys come in here, hit the like button. Let me get the thumbs up, man. Let's get it up. We got 24 dudes in there. I appreciate you guys. Let's match it with the thumbs up. So segueing into fights not coming together and last minute adjustments being made. I don't know if you guys caught it, but you know, most valuable entertainment or most valuable promotions? MVP, right? Most valuable promotions. Jake Paul's little situation, what he's doing. He had an event this past weekend. It was in Puerto Rico. It actually had a very good turnout. The headliner was going to be Amanda Serrano. I can't remember the lady she was getting. I think it was Mikey, whatever her name was.
Yeah, Mickey. No.
The card went by all right. You know what I'm saying? You know who boxed on that card? You remember that kid who plays on the TV shows? I don't know what his name is, man. They call him Wana. You know what I'm talking about? He came on a Steve Harvey show before as a little kid, did the backflip off the table. Anyway, he fought on the card. It was a lackluster performance. I think the lights got to him a little bit. I think it was a big stage for him, but he was on there. But Jake Paul also performed against, was it Ryan Borland, I believe is his name. I did a little research on this Ryan Borland guy. This guy hasn't fought in like 4.5 years, hasn't had a professional fight in 4.5 years. He's actually a full-time oil rig worker. And yeah, he fought like a guy who fought 4.5 years ago as an oil rig worker, because Jake Paul just ran through him like a hot knife through butter. And that's how that went. But I think the big twist on that event was Amanda Serrano couldn't perform because she had an injury to her eye, and they had to cancel the main event with a packed out arena. I think they did like a $1.5 million gate on that show. Puerto Rico really came out and showed up to come see Amanda Serrano fight, and she ended up, you know, showing up to the ring with Tito Trinidad, who tried to, like, you know, cushion the blow a little bit about what was being communicated, and basically communicated that she had an eye injury from getting her hair done. Some chemicals got in her eye, hurt her eye. She wasn't able to fight. And the question I think most people had was, all right, well, how come it took you guys so long to stop the fight from happening, or let everybody know that this was going to happen? I think it's obvious that we understand that they were in Puerto Rico. Amanda Serrano was a big part of that card and big part of that turnout, and they didn't want it to be a dead night for Jake Paul, so they basically lied. Let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? Delivered false hope, something that they knew well before the fight started, to say that, listen, this guy can't compete, this girl can't compete, and ended the show. What did you think of that?
I don't. It's hard. I think it's something beyond the eye. Me personally, but if it was the eye, and that is the case, I'll go with the fact that maybe if it was something that got in her eye from dye, gel, whatever the case may be, she probably thought that they can probably get it out and get it rechecked before the fight, and it probably was super last minute when the doctors checked on it. It was like, no, it's definitely a no-go. Right. It's very possible. Those things happen. I mean, we've all been athletes, and if we were athletes, we all know that, you know, we had injuries where we thought we can go and we just knew it wasn't going to work because we waited all week or every 2 weeks to do it, and the hamstring or the ACL just didn't feel right, or the finger, whatever the case may be. Those things happen. It was saddening for her in the moment to see her like that. She definitely had real tears in her eyes, and we could definitely see that it was definitely uncharacteristic of her to do so. Now, hopefully we get this fight back, because, you know, the way she made it sound was like her retirement, and she's like, I'm going to retire here. That was big. I don't know if people caught on to that. I was like, was this supposed to be her retirement fight? Like really? Like, what was the point of that? So I'm just hoping generally that we get her back in the ring soon. Hope she's all well, and things go from that nature. There are some things that were said. Like I said, I 100% don't think that it was her eye. In my opinion, I don't think so. But I've been on other channels where I heard that, and I hope that he said he got proof.
He got the tapes. He said he got the proof. He got the tapes. Yeah, he's talking about Ryan still about that conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's them too. All right, let them go at it. My bad. I thought he was talking about her. Yeah. So no. Anyway, I assumed that what I heard in the rumors on another channel, and shout out to the ladies over at Queens of Boxing, because it was something that they threw out there, and I'm gonna tell you something. It's very possible, and I actually was thinking the same thing. So I'm not going to say it because, you know, as a man, I don't want to go out there and say things and be disrespectful to women on that nature. You know what I mean? Because that can be consequential. So I'm just going to leave it there. If you guys want to know what it is, you can go check out Queens of Boxing. It is on their channel. So and salute to them for always being real about things and speaking their mind. But on that note, I'm going to step off.
Right. Yeah, man. So, you know, that's how that went. I guess they're going to try to kick the event off. How likely do you think it hurt the credibility of Jake Paul and the promotional company? I mean, he said he was giving everybody their money back in the arena. So they basically got to watch a free fight that evening, or a free card that evening, which was good. Tito Trinidad came out there, did a little bit of, you know what I mean? He tried to stop some of the destruction of what it looked like. Spoke, you know, everybody loves Tito. It seemed like he was able to pull some positive energy out the crowd. He did one of his like dictator speeches, like motivated the troops, and everybody kind of jumped back. So do you think they'll throw another event in Puerto Rico again and try to get that back?
We'll see. Another thing I want to mention was I really didn't pay attention to the crowd to see if it was sold out or was super busy. It looked like it from a fast pan through. I don't know if it was numbers. Maybe it was just the numbers and the turnout wasn't what it was. We don't know. Whatever the case may be, and like I said, it is she didn't lose support. She'll be back. She made a promise. You know what I mean? Puerto Ricans are strong. Latino community is strong. Just like every other community. You know what I mean? Afrocentric communities. We're all strong. We all stick together. You know what I mean? I like to call it the brown and spice community because that's what we roll with. You know what I mean? And we are all strong. We all stick together, man. So at the end of the day, you know what it is. So we'll be good. I think she'll be all right.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. So also in the this weekend, which was a big fight, I thought, was Raymond Ford, right? So Raymond Ford had he was off almost like a year, it felt like.
Right.
For like a year. Almost a year, right? Rachel, right now I want to know why else Amanda.
I'm not giving my opinion. But you know,
he said fact. Our low said fact. Nobody got refunded. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Rachel, do you want to come up? I don't know if you want to come up yet, or you just want to hang out in the back a little bit. Let me know what you want to do. But yeah, I don't know. I hope they stuck to their words and they refunded everybody like they said they would. But like I said, I heard the gate was 1.5 million. You know what I mean? That's what I heard. So I don't know if that means it was sold out. But I would say that means they sold a healthy amount of tickets.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because that's a lot of money. She driving.
All right, Rachel.
Yeah, she speeding. She got them heels on the floor, boy.
Yeah, for sure. So I hope they did refund and keep to their word. If they didn't keep to their word, then I think that's a big no-no on how successful I would think the next event is going to be, because if you're not going to keep your word and jib everybody out of the main event, who can bet on that coming together, right? So we'll see how that turns out. But back to what I was saying as far as Raymond Ford is concerned, he had a big fight. The guy who he's fighting had a crazy name. Let me pull it up.
No, I'm just going to say Kukunchin. You can say it. Let's just say Cuckoo.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going
it was was it Kolmatov?
Kolmatov, Kukukov, something like that. Kukukov, Kukushis.
Yeah, that's who it was. That's who it was.
Kolmatov?
It was Otabek Kolmatov.
Kolmatov. Okay, I knew it was something like that. Yeah,
right. But and the reason I want to make sure that I say this guy's name, because this guy put up a great fight. He damn near won the fight. You know what I mean? But I think he made the victory that much sweeter for Raymond Ford. Now I didn't get an opportunity, and I kind of missed my opportunity to speak to his coach, Coach Anthony, who coaches Raymond Ford, right? But first of all, Raymond Ford,
by the way.
Yeah, Raymond Ford showed a lot of grit in that fight. He had a fighting spirit. You can tell that long layoff he had, you can tell that it had an effect on him, right? Like it took him a while to get his rhythm in that fight. He lost like probably the first 4 to 5 rounds, you know what I'm saying? In that range, it seemed like he was having a hard time keeping up with the pace that Otabek was putting on him. Otabek was setting him up for a lot of power shots, and shout out to Raymond Ford for being able to weather that storm, not getting hit with anything too clean. I think he did get clipped in like the second round or the third round. He got clipped and he had to get it together. I think in the second round he tripped or something and pretty much ran, ran across the ring. But it wasn't
the issue that came about though with the apparently the Achilles went out or something.
Right, something happened, but
that they're speaking on. But I'm not the doctor, I'm not the fighter or the team, so just going by the statements.
Right. So Raymond, it took him a while to get it together. I would say around like seventh round. I
think he started fighting back a little harder in the 6th. It just was still like, in my opinion, it was so much pressure from was he Kokachev? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to call him Coco.
Otabek.
Yeah, Otabek. Okay, so Otabek definitely put a lot of pressure, and even with the Achilles thing, was still applying it. And I think he caught Ford by surprise. We definitely had for the older chat members a Rocky moment, and for the younger ones we had a Creed moment. You know what I mean? Like we definitely seen this dude come out the trenches and win this fight in the last round by TKO. So he needed it. and it shows the guts. You know what I mean? It shows another thing, that in boxing anything can happen. A turn of events is just a snap of a finger away. So, shout out to Raymond Ford and his team for the victory, becoming the WBO champion at 126.
WBA, I think.
WBA, thank you. No, yeah,
sure.
Okay,
but I think that I also got to see some good coaching, man. And Coach Anthony really did a good job helping him weather that storm, making sure he kept his head about him. I think the game plan ended up working out. Coach Anthony was basically like, we need to press this guy, right? Like, we need to stay inside of mid-range, because it seems like Odebek was throwing a lot of power shots, and it was like the power was at the end of his punches. So you saw, as we watched the fight, and we saw Raymond really pressing him, but not necessarily. He was like effectively pressing him, and I think that's kind of what got Odebek to hurt his ankle. It was just like, all right, he actually turned this fight around and started to get Odebek on his bicycle a little bit. Had him moving, trying to make space, trying to get space so he could let his hands go and do what his game plan was. And it seemed like the game plan that Coach Anthony had really started to take effect by around the 7th, 8th round. You started to see like, yo, this dude can't really take this pressure, and they started to exchange. It put Raymond in a little bit of danger to take that game plan, but I think there was just a lot of power there that he had to find a way to neutralize. And ultimately the pressure he ended up putting on him, ended up catching him with some clean shots where Odebek, got buckled and ultimately ended the fight the way it did. So shout out to Coach Anthony, putting a great game plan together. That was some great coaching. If you guys really pay attention to that fight and watch it again, there was a lot of great coaching going on in that corner. Coach Anthony was really should be celebrated almost as much as Raymond should be celebrated. Take this into consideration. I want your opinion on this. So Coach Anthony was speaking and said that Raymond Ford, for the last 3 weeks of his camps, what he does is he goes down to Houston to go cut weight with Shakur, and he goes to work out with them. Without him, he doesn't go down there to Houston. Raymond leaves him for the last 3 weeks of the camp,
big money,
to go down there and train with Shakur. How do you feel about that, as far as a coach allowing his fighter to leave his vision the last 3 weeks, specifically the last 3 weeks, to go down to Houston to go work with Shakur Stevenson, and ultimately, let's be honest, another camp, right? And then still be required to coach him that night of the fight? What do you think about that?
That could be detrimental, especially let's just put it in this factor for the most people that will understand this. It's like playing on like an NFL all-star game, and you're being coached, or a high school all-star game, whatever, football, right? And you have a head coach, and then the guy that's coaching you is your rival team, or just a team that, somebody in another division, and you're just like, yo, I always respected this coach. But the way they do things is just different, and it starts messing with your game plan, the way you run the ball. This guy may think he's better than your coach. It can, exactly, Big Dre, it introduce problems into maybe footwork, or you know what I mean, what your counters are, and how you step and approach things. It could change a lot of things. And then you get into the fight, and you have your coach who has to get you back into the way you were. It can change things. For instance, Philly Shell, or whatever we want to call it, right? That was a problem, because Derek James was coaching Ryan for a fight, and then he turned it to something else. He's like, what is that shit you're doing? What's going on? Right? So this is the same type of thing. We want to be wary of these things, because your coach is putting everything into you. He put you down there to work on maybe some mitts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He probably put you down there to maybe do some, like you said, weight cuts. So that means that was physical training. Yes, you got to stay sparring, stick to your routines, but your routines should have been, communicated between the coaches that this is what he needs to work on. This is what we're preparing for. If that's not being done, then it's just bad news, because you wouldn't be able to continue to do that, or he's going to end up believing to go in there because he feels like they're doing it better, or you're going to end up with a loss because you're not going to be on the same page, and that's going to be a problem.
Right. I agree with you. I think, for future fights, because, Raymond Ford right now is talking about potentially going up to 130. From what I understand, rumors are that he may be going up to 130, not staying at 126. He's going to be looking at fights with the likes of a Lamont Roach or Shaki Foster and things of that nature. I think, Coach Anthony, and like he said, he was trying to be very diplomatic about it, but he said he would not normally be comfortable with a situation like that. But basically working with Raymond Ford, understanding that Raymond Ford was working like this before he worked with him, and and to what he said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It seems like, you know, he was undefeated up to this point. He felt like he was confident in the work he put in with Raymond Ford, especially being that they trained for a year together, a solid year together before, you know, Raymond had a huge layover. So he felt like there was a lot of things that he was comfortably confident that he instilled in Raymond. But I question as to whether or not that's going to work in the future. This competition is going to get even worse. This fight he had was a rough fight. He did come out with the victory at the end of it, but I think there were holes there, or there was lack of rhythm or connection or communication with Coach Anthony. It took a while for Coach Anthony to kind of grab him up and get him together to put him back into the trajectory of winning that fight. It's something for them to think about. I don't know about him leaving for the last 3 weeks, especially like that last 3 weeks. For that weight cut, I don't know. Yeah, it's too long. 3 weeks.
Especially if he's not there. That's the thing. Right. He should be with him. Another thing is, you mentioned about moving up. I hear all the rumors about he's moving up because they're calling out other fighters. Is it potentially because the guy that's right behind him right now will be Stephen Fulton, who just moved up and lost the Inouye?
Maybe, or Shushu too. Shushu's down there too, lurking.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at that. Who's number 2 in that belt right now? Who'd be number 2 in line? That would be
right.
Yeah, that dude.
Cool boy.
Yes, that'd be that dude.
Yeah,
so he's man. Right there waiting. So I'm just wondering if that could be the case. And I would like to see that fight because that's a Philly Jersey fight. That's right there. Camden and Philly, man, that go back.
That's a big fight.
That go back to the Bernard Campbell Soups building. Freaking know what I'm talking about.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you think Raymond Ford should walk away from this fight confident in himself?
Yes.
As far as, right? So he should be
be
confident. Right. I think so too. It was a tough fight, man. And when you make it out, like Arlo said, I think a little bit, Arlo said a little bit earlier today on the chat here, saying that, you know, he cried at the end because he knew how hard that victory was going to be. You know what I'm saying? And one of our big fans is in the building. And you know, he knew how hard that fight was, and he knew that he was on the verge of taking his first loss. It had to be there. He knew that those judges, he didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people said that, I think he was down on the cards, on the actual real cards. He was actually down. So he needed that stoppage to win that fight. So shout out to Raymond Ford.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Salute to Raymond Ford. Salute to Coach Anthony. Great job, Coach Anthony. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but if you are, salute, brother. I admire that man. You guys have seen that man on the internet before, showing people how to box, like on YouTube. And, you know, people, I don't think took him that seriously. Like, oh, he's one of those YouTube boxing guys. But he's a serious dude. He has a champion right now in his stable that he's built and put in that position. And he deserves to be celebrated for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, going from Raymond Ford, right?
I got something.
Go ahead.
I got something big. So I don't know if you're going to touch on this, but what about the Tyson Fury Tim Tszyu interview?
Tyson Fury? You talking about Keith Thurman?
Keith Thurman.
Right.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I got Tyson Fury above that.
Like, they got into it?
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm sorry. Yes, I definitely meant Keith Thurman. That was hungry, man. They was talking about food.
Well, look, man, it's time to sell the fight.
Yeah.
Got an event coming up at the end of the month. It's going to be PBC's kickoff event. It's time to sell the fight. You know, I think they did a good job. I think that was more of a effective press conference than the actual press conference. I wish the press conference would have went that way.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Those guys really were selling the fight. And you know what else I found out about that? I found out if Keith Thurman wins, Tim Tszyu does lose his belt. I think he loses it. From what I'm hearing is that the belt will go vacant if he loses that fight. That's what I heard. Tim Tszyu,
Keith catch weight. That's crazy.
I don't understand, but this is what I'm hearing. I read this on I want to say ESPN.
I'm gonna have to research this myself.
Right.
That's crazy. Catch weight, like what? Yeah, whatever. All right.
Right. I mean, so I'm hearing that might be, and I'll be honest with you, that makes sense for me. And not makes sense as far as like the title shouldn't be on the line at all, should have nothing to do with this match at all.
Catch weight, right?
But I do think it's going to be awkward if Keith Thurman beats this dude and this dude's walking around WBO champion. Like, it's going to be weird. It's going to be very, very weird. You know what I'm saying?
It's boxing, man. Worst things that happen.
Right. But they sold it, man. I have questions. I want to see the open workouts a little bit. I want to see if Keith Thurman is getting how strong he's looking. I just don't see him being that athletic. Or do you think, I don't know if he can carry that athleticism that he used to have into this fight. I think he's going to have to come up with some grown man tricks and tactics. You know what I mean? Maybe like a little dirty boxing. He may want to, you know, he has a facts. Ryan training hard facts.
Yeah,
Ryan training hard fact.
Can I give my point on what you just said?
Sure.
I'll let you get back to it. I'm sorry. So what I see is that fight with Ghost. I don't want to say because I don't know why I can't think of his name. Anyway, the Ghost, when he was fighting the Ghost, and Keith Thurman was having that was like one of his last fights, and you could see him aging up. You know what I mean? And the Ghost was giving him good work. Ramirez, I believe his name is, I think. But Rivera, Ghost Rivera, giving him good work. It was a tough fight. I see that fight being so simple. Guerrero, thank you, Robert Guerrero. I don't know why I didn't have his name in my head.
Shout out to Texas 16 South,
salute for that.
Keeping us on our game.
That was a really good fight. And let me tell you something. I see that same look coming from Tim Tszyu, and I just don't see the same Keith Thurman that's going to make those adjustments and understand how to deal with that pressure like he did in that fight, because he's aged up and he hasn't fought in so long. That's my take on it. Right.
I feel that as well. You know what I mean? I definitely can co-sign and see that happening. You know, I can envision that happening. I don't see Keith Thurman winning this fight. You know, I think he can. But I'm interested in seeing, I think no matter what anybody wants to say, we're going to have to see a new Keith Thurman. If Keith Thurman is not a new Keith Thurman in this fight, if he's trying to be a Keith Thurman of the olden days, it's going to be difficult for him because age is undefeated. He's not active enough. He's not keeping himself, you know, unless he's been training like nonstop, like really dedicated to training and having good sparring ever since he had his fight with Barrios.
Right.
If he's been really keeping up with that, maybe that athleticism is still there. But if he's been, you know, just staying in shape and not really sparring that hard and just kind of waiting, which is what I believe he's been doing, just waiting for this next fight and waiting for a contract to come through, that Keith of old is gone, and he's going to have to really recreate himself in this fight. He's going to have to recreate a 154 version of himself and how he's going to introduce himself to the world.
Shout out to the Porter podcast as well. With that being said, he was a guest on that show, and he stated that he's been fluctuating in weight, which is not really a good thing, especially we don't know how long. I think it was over the course of him being off for the year and a half or whatever, 2 years. Talking about he went up to 185, 175, cut to 160, went back up to 170. So that fluctuation can be a possible problem as well. To me, he always looks in pretty decent shape. I think it was at one point they said he blew up to like 190. He didn't look like he was in shape. But that might have been at one point when he was at 185 or so. But if he can maintain it, man, and do his thing, I'm not mad at him. But just remember, it comes with a cost, man, at certain ages. And, you know, I wish them all the best, both fighters. We only want to see the best fighters in the ring, and we want to see what they do because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, to cheer on boxing.
Right. No doubt, man. So yeah, man, we'll see how it turns out for Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Right. But I wanted to get into, we have an option right now, right?
All right, let's
get into Canelo Alvarez coming back into the PBC, because that's definitely something we got to address tonight.
Yes.
Or we can jump into the sparring. What do you guys in the chat want to talk about? Let's be honest. We got to get into this sparring video, or should we get into Canelo? What are we gonna do?
I say we can touch on the sparring and be quick about it. Because I mean, we all seen what happened. It's a very touchy subject. It's got people's a lot of people got emotional over it in the defense and in the against. It's crazy. It's real crazy because again, this is what I've been telling you. It's something I even was criticized about because I really didn't care too much for it, because it's sparring, two, it's a highlight film, honestly. And even if it did go that way, let's just say that it did, because again, I really don't care. At the end of the day, it's who won, and that's what we're told of who won. I can't go by something that I see, and then someone's telling me that someone else won. Like that just doesn't make too much sense to me. In that case, and we just have to stop. I mean, it's just the simple things. And like I said, I think we're in boxing today. It seems like we're in a cultural, and I use the word cultural well, mode of following the leader situation. Like who makes more sense to me, I'm just gonna ride with it and I'm gonna walk with it. That's what I see a lot. And it's weird because it's like people don't use their eyes. It's like, look at the whole picture, and then take the segments of it. And yes, you can break it down. Was Tank getting off? Absolutely. I've never told anybody. I never defended that he wasn't. Right. Did I see that it was clipped up? Yes, absolutely. And I want to just say, like, me knowing that it was clipped. I mean, how much of it was clipped? How much of it was one sided or the other?
Hold on one second. Shout out TR. TR is my checks and balances. He gonna call me out on my BS. He requires me to stay committed and keep drawing his content. He will not. I knew if he came up in here, it was gonna be up.
Listen,
but shout out TR. I'm gonna give you an excuse in a minute.
He still wants to get up here, even though he said he ain't getting up here.
Look, TR gonna hold me fast. He gonna be like, hold up, that's all cool. Y'all talking about boxing. Yo, Claymore, we upset. You missed 3 days. We need an excuse.
Peace, Bud
on that part. Shout out, Bud Jablonski.
But yeah, at the end of the day, Clay, like I said, it's really what it is. Is it really happening? No. We should wait till that happens. You know what I mean? Like I said, you said I'm upset about the tape. Bradley, you funny, bro. I ain't upset about nothing. Let me tell you something. I can't be upset when I support and I'm a fan of boxing. I like Tank. That's why I keep telling you. How many times have I said it? I like Tank as a fighter. When it comes to Tank and Devin, I just think Devin is the guy that's going to make Tank go in his toolbox, regardless of who wins or who I think wins that fight. I think that's what's going to happen. He's going to have to dig in that toolbox, which we never seen. So me seeing that is what I didn't see. You know what I mean? We only seen part of the tape. Yes, it was 9 years ago to be exact, and I would like to see it for what it is. Here we go. Fight game. Chill, B. Anyway, prove it. You know what I mean? Prove it. Because what I'm saying is 100%, and you don't know me like I don't know you. So I can say you cap. Maybe you agree with me. You just don't want to say it because you know what I mean? You don't want to get looked at funny or something. I don't know. But anyway, at the end of the day, Clay, what it is we want to see the fight. And if you want to see the fight, who cares about the sparring? That's how I feel. Because it doesn't matter to any of us at this moment. Because it's just
I'm going to push back a little bit and say, if you want to see the fight, I'm cool with you making a big deal out of the sparring. But if you don't want to see the fight, I don't care about your opinion about the sparring because it was not the fight. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So let's be 100 about it. If you feel that way, at the end of the day, you know what I want? And look, I don't care. Listen to everybody in the building right now. I don't care what y'all tell me. Y'all gonna love to see Devin Haney and Tank Davis in that ring. If that fight is announced, that's gonna be one of the best fights you guys have ever seen. It's gonna be one of the most anticipated fights. I just wish both sides could get on one accord to say that we all need to see this fight. Because sometimes it sounds like one side is trying to discredit the fight.
Shout out to Fanon for being goofy in the chat. For real, because I know that's him. Because he's the only one I put that up there. He the only one that repeated that.
Look, they're gonna y'all. It's all good, Matrix. I'm happy you showed up, bro. You know what I mean? You do your thing, exactly. Man. But at the end of the day, getting back to what I was saying, at the end of the day, it's the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's the fight that's most important. Mm-hmm. It's the fight that needs to happen. I don't care about the sparring tape. Because number one, his age. He was like 16, 17 years old. Right. Tank Davis was a pro. He was not a professional.
Hold on. You say you don't what? Real quick.
About me?
Yeah, you say you don't what?
I said I don't care about the sparring.
Okay. Just making sure because I said that I got cooked on that.
Well, it is what it is. People can care about it. That everybody has their own. We have to learn as adults to learn what it looks like to respectfully agree to disagree.
That's something that you guys,
you know what I'm saying? You guys have to learn.
We got to explain this, Clay. We adults, like you just said. You know what I mean?
Right. We have to learn how to respectfully be able to agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, me personally, I don't put that much value in that sparring tape. But I'll tell you what, if it's going to add credibility to the fight, if it's going to make people want to see the fight more, keep playing that tape over and over again. Because what I'm concerned about and what I want to see is a great fight. And I don't want to miss out on a great fight. So I don't see why both sides of the conversations can't come into one accord that at the end of the day, the fight should happen. And I think everybody's asking for it. There's enough people asking for it where it don't even matter for the people who are trying to discredit it.
And
let's see the fight come together.
I don't think he had turned pro yet. I think he was making a decision at this point to turn pro, because I don't think he had his first pro fight till he was 17. We only heard 17 from one person. Everyone else that was there said 16. So, I mean, it is what it is. If he was, he was. He's not. I don't care. Again, This is 9 years ago. That's my whole thing. And we're talking about something that happened then. This is now. I mean, let's talk about the now. I mean, I get it. They talk about it. So to the defense of everyone that defends Tank, yes, Bill and Devin talked about it a lot. They did put it out there. I'm not discrediting them for defending that and having something to have something to laugh about because the way it looked. I'm not mad at that. You know what I mean? I actually understand why they are the way they are and how they feel. But at the same time, we got to remember what it really is. Because like I said, we could chop up a lot of stuff and make anybody look bad. So, well, let's keep it what it really is. Because at the end of that sparring match, we know who walked out with that money. We know who walked out and said that.
That was totally agreed upon it. And I'm going to tell you like this.
Everybody said that even Tank was saying, yeah, he got me. I was tired.
Thank you, Richard Paris. That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk about that boxing, man. We want to see all those fights. We all know it deep in our heart. But you look at the Raymond Ford fight. If somebody was to make a highlight reel out of that fight, everybody would say that Raymond Ford got his ass whooped. But he's a new featherweight WBA champion of the world because he won that fight. No matter what anybody wants to say, he won that fight. So we don't have to Claymore, you never let anyone beat you like that in your life. TR, you don't let nobody beat you like that in your life. You get beat like that against your will, bro. That's what happens. Nobody ever lets anybody beat them like that in their life. Nobody's letting anything happen. And look, shout out to Gervonta Tank Davis. You know what I mean? Let me tell you something that you Tank fans do when you guys do what you do. Can I highlight you guys for a minute? You guys get so confrontational with us. You turn us into Tank haters, even though we're not Tank haters. You put us on the side of the conversation where we're defending Devin so much. It looks like we ain't Tank. Right. Yo, Tank is what Tank did in that sparring video that we saw, that highlight video. Tank is a great fighter. That's what he does, man. That's why we want to see him in these big matches. We know what Tank does. He's not a hype train. He's not, full of smoke. It's not smokes and mirrors with him. You get what you get when you see Tank in the ring. He is that guy. You know what I'm saying? He is that guy, bro. That's why we want to see him. That's why we want to see him in these fights. That's why we know he can go up to. That's why we know he can go up to 140 and put that work in. We know who he is. It's y'all sometimes who be looking a little shaky about your faith in his ability to get out of his comfort zone and do things that is not in his comfort zone. We know what he can do. That's why we call no, we don't, Bradley 68.
No, listen. I'm gonna tell you.
Hold up. No, we don't, Bradley.
Because I was about to. Go ahead.
Listen, no, we don't, Bradley 68. We don't choose sides. And you know what? You might be right. But you know what side I choose? I choose boxing. I choose great fights happening because at the end of the day, at the end of our conversations here on ATP Combat Media, we're making fights happen. That's what we're talking about happening. You guys don't talk about fights happening enough. You don't push fights happening enough. It's great to be a fan of a fighter and to push the fighter, but you don't push for the great fights as much as we do. You guys say things like, I don't care who he fights again. I just want to see him fight. You guys say things like that. We push for the great fights, for the fights that make sense, that we think is going to be the most competitive fights. We push. I said, he said, you just said all Tank fans. I do say that because I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to the Tank fans. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Tank fan. I'm a boxing fan. I'm not a Devin fan either like that. I'm a fan of both of them to the point where I want to see them both fight each other. Truth be told, if you want me to put on record who I'm a fan of, I'm a fan of Terrence Crawford. That's who I'm a fan of. But everybody else, I just want to see great fights happen. You know what I mean? And I just want you guys to talk more on that direction. At this point, when you see that sparring tape, I don't care what you think about it. If you think it was crazy, you know what I care about? Can we see them fight yet then? Now that we've seen that tape, why wouldn't Tank take advantage of Devin Haney that he saw on that tape and become an undisputed champion in that weight class? Right. Why wouldn't he take advantage of Devin Haney and fight Devin Haney? You know why? Because he doesn't have to. But you guys, his fans, you guys can put the pressure on him to make him take those great fights. It is what it is.
Weight bully.
Right. You guys put those
he needs to make the bread first.
How much did Devin weigh in that sparring for in that sparring match?
He got to make the bread, Clay.
Right. You know what I mean? He said, why y'all care so much about that tape? Who?
We just brought it up because
cares about that tape?
Bro,
who cares about that tape? I'm telling you, I don't care nothing about that tape. I'm saying, though, if you guys want to watch that tape and you guys want to keep bringing that tape out and making it a big deal, I'm cool with that. Let's talk about the fight happening as well, though. At the end of the conversation, let's talk about a fight happening. Like Devin said, after you finish doing that, let's talk about fighting, because y'all say everything but let's fight. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean?
Bradley, I appreciate it, bro. Listen, I'll be hurt if you see it that way. At the end of the day, I'm still smiling. I'm still walking because it don't bother me none. Thank you, appreciate that. I appreciate
real with you, Bradley, we love that you here, bro. You one of my most favorite.
I appreciate you caring about me, bro. For real.
Not only that, I'm saying Bradley keeps the channel on his toes. I love Bradley being here. When I don't see Bradley for a long time, I start to question. I hope you're healthy. I hope that I'll be thinking about you, Bradley. When the channel comes on, I'll be like, "What, Bradley?
Yeah,
Bradley? You that guy, bro. You that guy. That's a fact. You know I ain't lying too, Bradley. You know we need you in the building." So,
hey, Big Dre, I need that tape back for. I need that tape back.
Bradley said, yeah, Bradley, that's a fact.
Look at that tape back, Big Dre.
You know I ain't lying to you. Whatever, bro. Whatever,
I gotta share the tape with Jose, and Jose got to send it over to Here for Boxing. Here for Boxing gonna mail it out to Richard Parrish. We got to share that tape, y'all.
He said, y'all don't work enough. I'm trying to work on it, Bradley. I work a full-time job, bro. Trying to take care of my family, brother.
Me too.
You know what y'all need to do is hit that cash app, bro, and help me get up out that damn truck. You heard what I said? You heard? Help me get out that damn truck.
Hold on. Don't forget to send the tape to Rollo. We got to send the tape to Rollo, too. Everybody got the TR need the tape. Hold on. Get the tape. I'm heard about it, baby. Come on.
To you guys. But, yeah, man, the sparring tape was cool. I wish I could see the whole sparring tape. I do wish that. You know, I'd like to see the whole tape. Not to disprove you guys wrong or anything like that, but I'd like to see the whole tape. But, you know, that being said, it is what it is. We'll be opening and dropping a link. So, guys, I'm sure we'll be talking about it all night when it comes down to it. But we're going to move forward a little bit. We're going to get into Canelo Alvarez getting back into the PBC, right? So Canelo Alvarez left PBC for a minute, or did he even leave, right? Right, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it just seems like he was trying to weigh out the best opportunity that he can get. He was making it very clear. I think the PBC also made it very clear to him, more importantly, that this is the way we're going to do business with you if we're going to do business. And if you don't want to do business this way, PBC clearly was willing to let him go and go find a better opportunity somewhere. They called his bluff, and he went over to Golden Boy and the Zone and in the Matchroom, and all those guys said, yeah, we love to have you over here because we hate the PBC, but at the end of the day, we ain't shooting you 35 million, brother. No, the hell we not. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think Al Heyman was sitting there going, I told you, brother. Now, are you ready to sign the contract? And shout out to Al Heyman and the PBC for putting their foot down and saying, you're going to fight David Benavidez effing with us. That's what's going to definitely happen. If you're not going to fight David Benavidez, we ain't giving you no money. And it sounds like, from what I understand, well, first of all, today, Canelo went ahead and confirmed that it will be him and Jaime Munguia for May 4th for the Cinco de Mayo weekend. He confirmed it today from Canelo and his team. So that's a fact. That's what's happening. And I'm hearing rumors of a big part of that.
Barlow.
Yeah. I'm hearing rumors that a big part of that fight coming together was him agreeing to fight David Benavidez. Because I think they're anticipating a possible little bit of a loss with the Munguia fight for what they're paying for him. So they want to be able to get an opportunity to recoup that with a David Benavidez fight. What do you think about Canelo Alvarez going back to the PBC right now?
Hey, I mean, he already had a contract negotiated for 3 fights. I mean, did he really, like you said, did he really leave? That is the question. I believe that Canelo's looking for what's best for his interests. Like I think I said it last week. whether he leaves or not, whether whatever he makes a decision for himself. He can do what he wants. He is the face of boxing currently. Active fighters. Tank's right behind him, and both of them could do what they want. It shouldn't be a question of what they're doing, who they're fighting, and who's the and what we think about it, because they don't care. Canelo actually put a tweet out saying, "Look, if I fight Benavidez, I'm ducking Beterbiev. If I fight Beterbiev, I'm ducking Bivol. If I fight Bivol, I'm ducking Charlo." You know what I mean? He went round robin with all that. So at the end of the day, he does have a valid point. You know what I mean? So if he wants to get a fight, he wanted to fight Charlo. Apparently his biggest point was the PBC didn't want him to fight Charlo. That's what the argument in the standoff was. He wants Charlo. They didn't want Charlo as a fight because Charlo demanded too much money. The easiest way to get it done was to go across the street, work with Oscar, try to get this Mejia fight going, and let it happen for May 4th. I guess he came to some settlement of that. And with that being that September 9th date or somewhere around there, have him fight Benavidez. That's what the rumors are. That'd be great. Like I said, that'd be his third fight. Maybe that'd end his career. We don't know. I hope it doesn't, but let's see what happens, because I actually think that, Benavidez at that point will be tough being at a light heavyweight. It'd be a harder fight. Yeah, he did say that. But he actually clarified that too. So we got to listen to both sides of that when he said it. He did say that too, Jose.
Well, how did he clarify? I didn't hear him clarify. How did he clarify?
Yeah, he actually said that that's not what he meant. What he said is, I had to pull up the tape, but he said that it's not that he doesn't fight Mexicans. Actually, TR, what did he say? I'm pretty sure you know. He said something about he doesn't. He said he just didn't want to discredit his countrymen. He wants to fight people based on who they are. He don't care who they are. He'll fight them no matter what. Mexican, Latino, Puerto Rican, Black. He didn't American. He didn't say Black. He said American. Anywhere. He just said that he just doesn't like to fight his people because of unity or something like that. But it is what it is. Hey, he said he ain't scared of nobody. So we'll see what happens. Let's see if we get that fight going.
Yeah. As far as answering that question, I agree with you. I can't, man. The messages are coming so fast. True stranger other than fiction. Yeah, he said he wouldn't fight. That he didn't want to fight Mexicans, right? And that's why I'm giving the PBC a lot of credibility.
His countrymen is what he said.
Well, his countrymen
switched it up.
Right. But I mean, I remember him saying he didn't want to fight Mexicans as well. But at the end of the day, I agree with you, True Stranger Fiction. I think we can call that out for what it is, but we have to be honest. We got to give Al Heyman and the PBC their credit in this situation, because we know for a fact Canelo Alvarez did not want to fight Munguia. He made it clear in his by having that little meeting he had, that little show that he came on and said that it was going to be an American fighting. He pretty much put it out there what he was going to do, and for PBC to call his bluff and to let him walk off and go shop himself around and show Canelo that, listen, bro, we already know we're offering you premium money for the right fights. If you want to go over there and make less than premium money for fights that nobody wants to see, go ahead and do that. You'll be hurting your legacy and you'll be hurting your pockets. They called him out on it, and he had to come back with his hands in his pockets and say, so what's up with that 35 mil? What I got to do? And they forced that man to do something he didn't want to do. They forced him to fight a Mexican, and they forced him, more importantly, to give us, the fans, the biggest fights that we want to see, which is him and David Benavidez. You got to shout out to the PBC. And hopefully they're able to put some more fights together that we want to see as well underneath the banner. And hopefully, like Richard Paris said, their pockets are deep and they're ready to give us what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to give us what we want to see. But yeah, man, Jaime Munguia for Cinco de Mayo, and rumor is David Benavidez for September. So we're happy to hear that. Now the last topic we're going to go in before we throw this link out is Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua knockout chaos. Friday is coming up. I saw the workouts today, the open workouts today. Anthony Joshua did what he does, which is bring a bunch of damn kids into the ring, and he didn't show us nothing, and we don't know what he's been working on. I think he does that on purpose a little bit. I think he tries to make it more of a relaxing thing. I think that's him and Ben Davidson have that agreement that, like, the week of the fight, we're going to take it very light. We're not going to do nothing in the ring. But, you know, as fans, damn, bro, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? We watch the kids, you know, shadow box in the ring with him. We saw Francis Ngannou shadow box in the ring as well. He looked pretty good. He was running some mitts with Dewey Cooper. And he looked pretty good, man. He looked like he'd been working on, pretty much took off from where he left from his last fight, and he's trying to get better. Ready to box. You can tell that he was working on boxing. He wasn't sitting there like throwing a bunch of power shots. He was doing a lot of mitt work. I'm optimistic that, you know what I believe? I believe this is going to be a very competitive fight. That's what I do believe. I believe it's going to be a very good competitive heavyweight fight. I still have to say I'm leaning with Anthony Joshua to win because, you know, you got to put the resumes up there. Francis Ngannou going into this fight 0-1. You know, and we got to recognize that Anthony Joshua has been very busy last year. He fought a lot of fights last year. He fought, well, not a lot, with 3 fights, which is crazy. That's a lot of fights today. For a boxer, you know what I'm saying, to fight 3 fights in the year, but he stayed real busy. His last 2 fights, he stopped the fighters that he was fighting. He seems like he's acclimated well and melting and meshing well with Ben Davidson, because we know he was working with Derek James for some of those fights and then came over to Ben Davidson. Seems like he's found a home. He's happy. He looks determined. He's not taking Francis Ngannou lightly. He's not taking Francis Ngannou lightly. So yeah, I'm hoping to see a very competitive fight. What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Actually, it's funny because you say that. I think I was on Ngannou winning this fight. Then I was watching a Tyson Fury fight, and when Tyson Fury really started boxing, I was like, yo, it's a different fighter. He was exposed a little bit. Now, I'm not going to put it past that he doesn't have the power to knock out AJ. AJ has shown that he could be beat. Even by by competition less threatening than what I mean by that is power wise than Ngannou. So we'll see what happens when he gets into the ring. Now, at the same time, we need to really look at what's really there. AJ is a strong, rejuvenated fighter. Looks like he's back on his shit. It looks like he's about to go in there and make it happen. I think he does beat Ngannou by stoppage, and I think what we see is Tyson Fury and AJ finally fighting, especially after the meeting they had. Believe it or not, Tyson Fury rolled up on him and was like, yo, you a big dude. He didn't expect that. And that looks like it's going to be he do got the equalizer. I said that. He do got the equalizer, but and that's where AJ surprises me, because he's very lackluster to take shots on the chin. But he can box also. When he gets on that back foot, AJ's really good. But we'll see how he comes out and fights. You know what I mean? If AJ gets in there and does his thing or not. But I do like him winning by stoppage. And I think, like I said, I see the Tyson Fury versus AJ fight for the undisputed championship of the world.
Right. And then on the co-headliner on that card, we have Joseph Parker and Zhilei Zhang fighting for I believe Zhilei Zhang holds the WBO interim title as well. So it looks like that's what that fight is going to be on the line. Joseph Parker, we know who Joseph Parker is and how he looked in his last fight. He fought Deontay Wilder, completely outboxed him, damn near pretty much pitched a shutout fight against Deontay Wilder. So I'll tell you what, Deontay Wilder wasn't letting his hands go the way we wanted to see him let his hand go, and he wasn't being aggressive. So how much props or respect can we give Joseph Parker for that fight when we're talking about bringing him to this next level to fight Zhilei Zhang, who's carrying a momentum with him right now in the conversations for fighting for any of these guys, fighting an Anthony Joshua, fighting a Tyson Fury, fighting Alexander Usyk, fighting an Ergovich. He's in that conversation right now. Do you think Joseph Parker has what it takes to bring the big Chinaman down to earth and walk away with an interim title?
Anything's possible. You know that. That's my first thing I'm going to always say. But here's what I say. George Foreman and Zhang. Heavy-handed, staying right there, letting you throw yourself out and punch, and he just hit you with the wallop. Joseph Parker can do everything he tried to do with Deontay Wilder.
Salute, Bruce Gas. Salute.
Yeah, he got a guy like George Foreman standing in front of him because that's who Zhang reminds me of. He sits right there. He puts his hand out, and he just bow. And it's
as soon
all
as he feels something
heavy-handed.
touch him hands, he lets him hands go. As soon as he
let him go,
tickles those fingers, he lets him go.
And he's been hit with some shots, and he don't move. So, yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I like Zhang in this fight.
Yeah, and I have to agree with Bradley 68, my guy. I think we agree with Bradley 68 on everything except for tanking.
No. I gotta share the tape. I gotta share the tape.
Right. Okay. But Bradley 68, I 100% agree with you. I think Zhang and Parker is the better fight. I think that's gonna be the fight of the night.
Yes, sir.
Which is a lot to say because I'm telling you guys, I believe Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua is going to be a very competitive fight. But I do think the fight of the night is going to be Joseph Parker and Zhilei Zhang. I think those two fights are great heavyweight fights. Rollo Green says Zhang stops Parker between 6 and 8. I could see that happening, Rollo. I definitely could see it happening. Great heavyweight boxing on that card. They've got about 8 other fights on that card that I really don't care about that much, but I'll be watching it because I love boxing, and we'll be talking about it the next day. I promise you. So, that being said,
live, hopefully,
yeah, man, that's probably it's gonna be Friday, so it's gonna be a weird time. I think it starts at 11, and I'll be working right, so I can't say that. Maybe we'll catch the main if we can do the main event live, the co in the main event. I can get home in time. We'll do that as well. Anonymous says, I like Joseph Parker, but he's very hittable. I got Zhang 100% for sure. I like Joseph Parker too as well. But he's gonna have to work a good game plan. He has a great coach, and I can't remember what his name is. What's his name? The Irish guy that used to be under oh my God, Mickey. Oh, what's his name? Oh my God. He used to fight. He used to fight against Emmanuel Lewis. He was like Emmanuel Lewis, his last fighter before he passed away, the Irish boy. He has a great corner though. He has a lot of experience in his corner. So it'll be interesting to see how they bring that fight together. Right. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I am gonna throw
for you.
Say it again.
Question in the chat.
Anonymous says, what y'all think about Ray Vargas versus Ray Vargas is on that card. He is on that card. It's another good fight on that card, which is on the same card. This question is for the chat too. What do I think of the fight as far as who's going to win, or what do I think of the quality of the fight? I think it's going to be a great fight. Ray Vargas is an ex-PBC fighter, if I'm correct. So he's coming over and he's going to be showing out on. And I'm telling you, a lot of these fighters who left the PBC are leaving for the activity. They just trying to get busy and trying to make money. And they're not, when somebody doesn't have the answers for you, like what's my next fight going to be? They end up being like, all right, I ain't gonna get no fights over here. Who wins that fight? I think the favorite's gonna be Ray Vargas. I'm not really that familiar with Nick Ball like that to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I am familiar with Ray. So who wins? I'm gonna lean towards Ray Vargas. I'm gonna lean to that resume and into his trajectory as a fighter. But once again, not very familiar with Nick Ball. Anonymous, you want to add to it and let me know a little something that I don't know? TR said, did y'all see the Raymond Ford this weekend? We talked about it earlier, TR.
Missed it. Yeah.
You missed it, TR. You
recapped it, but it's going to be quick. We just thought it was a great fight, great competitive fight, and we thought it was a Rocky moment or a Creed moment, however you want to look at it. You know what I mean? Big time adversity fight. That's what we'll say.
Right. Definitely.
Did you also want to bring up, because I just got news today that Katie Taylor, for the third time, is fighting Chantel Cameron, and this could be a possible fight that we can see Alicia Baumgardner stepping into finally. Because she commented
I have no real opinion on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's the third time.
Katie Taylor's undefeated, right?
Yes, and I'm pretty sure Katie gonna put hands on her, bro. I have nothing really to share on that fight. Like I really don't care.
Yeah, my whole thing is that Alicia Baumgardner was definitely on top of this. Like, yo, why are we doing this again? Like, basically saying that should be her fight.
Right, she's right. But then again, Alicia Baumgardner, you out there, and I heard some rumors and some stories about her situation, and how she ended up in that situation. So I'm going to leave it at that and just say that, yeah, girl, you missed out on your opportunity. Do better, and we'll see you fight the winner, hopefully. It is what it is.
I like that.
We'll leave it there. You know what I'm saying?
Short, simple, sweet.
Good. Anything else you want to cover before I put the link in, or should I?
Nah, let's drop the link. All right. So if anybody got that do want to come up here and they want to shoot the fade with each other, just let us know so we can clear the room. It'd be a 3-minute timer. We're not going to have people out talking to each other. We're going to be respectful, and we're going to do that. Other than that, let's keep it popping, man. Let's talk
man. I'm glad my co-host Ray Davis definitely made that clear. Guys, respect on this platform is huge. We all grown men. I'm not so comfortable with grown men going into personal issues. I think we're made to be physical. We're made to fight. We can't do that on the internet. So let's stop acting like we're ready to do that. And also let's not take advantage of the fact that we can't do that. And the tough guys getting tough on the internet is weak, bro. Don't get tough on the internet. It looks crazy. When grown men getting tough on the internet, it looks crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
please.
Right. Frequent. Stop calling people out before they show up.
Yeah, stop trying to challenge people, talking about you getting plane tickets, you trying to go meet people where they at. We're not doing that this time around, Frequent. You know what I'm saying? But for real though, dead serious, yo, that's what this is all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about boxing.
It's all about building. We can talk passionately. We can do all the above, but let's not the names and just be respectful. You know what I mean? Play by ear, be respectful. Golden rule up in here first. And we know what the golden rule is, right? We don't got no churchgoers in here. What the golden rule is, do unto others, and you know how the rest of it go. Let's go. There goes the link. Y'all come on up. I know we're gonna talk about this damn sparring tape. We're gonna have the Devin and the Tank. Yo, Devin and Tank is content candy. Like, I don't do it that easily because I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't live or do anything with this YouTube channel yet that pays any of my bills, so I'm not that concerned. I'm into the fight happening, and I'm not so much into all the extra stuff so much. So, I cover it last, and I do it because I know you guys love it, and I want to give you guys what you guys want to see. But I'm very interested in the fight, and the sidebar, it doesn't really do nothing for me that much. I'm interested in the fight happen. Shout out to Big Dre in the building. Salute, Big Dre. How you feeling, brother?
Salute, fellas. Salute. Man, they released that chopped up version of some sparring footage, and it's been nothing but ever since. I mean, we had a good fight go on this weekend, and people still talking about an 8-year-old tape. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
It proved three things. It proved that there was an actual tape. It proved that Adrian Broner jumped in and stopped it when he thought there was something out of pocket happening. It proved nothing else. There was a 1:30-second, I think there was about 30 seconds of that minute 45 that went from point to point. And that's that 30 seconds right before AB jumped in that was uncut. It's over. Let it go. It's been a long time coming.
Right. Can I help you out real quick with the third point? Because
sure.
I said 3. I'm going to say the third point, it proved that Devin had a chin because he wasn't wobbled or shook at all. But
I disagree with you there, Ray, because in that 30 seconds that I talked about, there was 2 times that the knees buckled. It was momentarily, but there were 2 times that the knees buckled. He made it through it, but there were 2 times that the knees buckled. I'm not putting any stock in it. It happened. It's over. So, that's one of those things. I'm just wanted to say that.
Right.
Would I like to see the fight? Absolutely, I would love to see the fight because no matter how you look at it, it's going to be an exciting fight. no matter what weight class it's at, it's going to be an exciting fight. If they fought in a small gym, a backyard, Madison Square Garden, I don't care. Okay? If they do fight, fine. If they don't fight, ain't no skin off my nose. I don't get a cut. It is what it is.
But I gotta push back a little bit. And I normally don't push back, but I gotta tell you right now, if they're not gonna fight, stop talking about them. Let them talk about who they fighting. If they talk about Devin fighting Ryan and talk about Tank fighting Frank, stop talking about something that's not going to happen. But if y'all going to continue to talk about it, if that's going to be the topic of discussion on these platforms where everybody keeps bringing up these sparring tapes and keep bringing up Tank and Devin, and they're going to make them the highlight of all their content that they're doing, then I'm going to push back always and say, I want to see the fight. Sometimes people mistaken that, because what they do is when you say you want to see the fight, they make it sound like you're pushing, like you won't stop pushing the agenda. No, I'm not pushing the agenda. I'm just bringing it to a close. So you guys talk endlessly with infinite scenarios and potential conspiracies and possibilities and things of that nature. I bring it to the full. I go all the way through and I follow through and I said, okay, that's what's up. That conversation was hot. Can they fight? And if we're not talking about making them fight, if we're not talking about making them fight and how much we want to see them fight, then what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So yeah,
that's why I said I was going to say.
That's why I said let it go.
Right.
They in two separate weight classes. You know, Devin looks to be moving up to going up another weight class. Hey, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Hold on, Dre. Let me get in there. I just want to say I think I kind of disagree, man. I want them to show the video. Keep showing it. I don't care who fighting, because that's what's going to get the fight moving. That's what's going to make, get more demand for the fight, coming about. Just show the video. I don't care. They acting like we butthurt or something crazy about the video. It's a chopped up highlight film. And I gotta
it's 8 years old,
and I gotta hold on. And you hiding over there in the corner. Ain't nobody knees buckle, bro. We ain't see no buckling and no knees.
I put that
he saw some knees buckling a little bit.
I put that tape on my big screen. Okay. I ran it on my big screen.
On a Zenith, so you seen it, right?
Okay. I put it on the big screen. Okay. So when I put it on the big screen, from you,
did you have your glasses on?
Yeah, absolutely, I had my glasses on. I'm an old man. I need my glasses. They bifocals. So
okay, all right. So you reading and seeing. I feel you, brother.
So,
you know what I mean?
But like I said, if you wind back 30 seconds from the instant that Adrian Broner jumped in the ring, okay, they in the right hand corner. When they move to the left hand corner, okay,
we know you saw a knee buckle. All right,
there is a hit where Devin, the knees buckled. He stumbled one step and he stood right back up again.
Which way his knee buckled? Did his knee go in or did it go outward?
The knees don't go in, fool.
When they buckle, they go side to side, inwards or outwards, bro.
No,
I'm just messing with you. But did you see the infamous arm grab? That's what I want to know too. Or did you hear the infamous pick him up? And where he fell and we didn't see it. Okay. The video didn't capture it, but somebody said pick him up because he was on the floor.
Or the infamous 10 count. The infamous 10 count.
The word pick him up did come out. And it happened right before AJ jumped in the ring.
2,
but, hey, listen,
3.
So they said pick him up before Broner jumped in the ring, huh? Before the punch even happened, they said pick him up.
But you see, I'm not here to debate any of that. I'm saying it's an 8-year-old tape. Let it go.
Definitely having fun. But let me say this. Can I add something to this?
9-year-old to be exact.
Fellas,
all right, hold on.
Wait, hold on. Right, Ray? Let me add something to the conversation and say this, right? First of all, we know there's a winner, right? We know who won the money, right? That's a fact. We don't have to discuss. We know somebody won money.
That.
Okay, cool. All right. So that being said, right, we know who won money. And like I told you guys earlier, we saw Raymond Ford fight this weekend, and we saw this man get into a hell of a fight. And if somebody wanted to, they could make a great highlight reel for from Odebeck to show you how Odebeck was just whooping Raymond Ford, and you would never even want to see the Raymond Ford fight again if they didn't have if that fight didn't turn out the way it did, because Odebeck had a lot of real highlight reel opportunities in that fight that he took advantage of. So
Absolutely.
seeing Devin Haney knees buckle, like you said, but seeing him not falling and knowing that at the end of that fight, Devin and his father walked away with money on that fight. Doesn't that speak more towards Devin Haney's grit and his ability to compete with Tank at 20? What is he now? 26 years old?
Wait, don't forget he was only 16 too. Throw that in there.
27. He's 27. He's 27.
He's 27.
They 3 years apart. They 3 years apart.
No, they no, they ain't.
They 3 years apart.
I think it's 29.
In the spar, they 4 years apart.
Yeah, so
Because in the spar, Tank was 20 and Devin was 16.
Right.
So how old is Devin right now?
25.
He's 25, right? And how old is
Tank?
Tank? And Tank is what? 29.
29. Right. It's 4 years.
It's 4 years. It's 4 years apart.
Tank's birthday is like a month before Devin's, by the way.
Okay.
So they're
right.
Yeah,
so look. So understanding that you saw his knees buckle at 16 years old against Tank Davis, right? But you know that also we don't like to leave it out that at the end of the fight, Devin Haney walked away with money and Bill Haney walked away with money, right?
We are not disputing who walked away with the money.
Okay.
That's
what are we disputing?
That's not up for debate.
Here for boxes in the back.
I want to know.
Right, hold on. All right. While y'all guys
inquiring minds want to know.
Let Truth get something off real quick. Let him talk.
Hold on. So watching the video, the only thing that I do agree with AB is that if there was no headgear and he had 8 ounces off, 8-ounce gloves on, Devin definitely would have been out of there. I agree with that. As far as the tape, man, like that's what Tank do, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't surprising. I mean, obviously it was chopped up. Floyd Mayweather. He's kind of fucked up for chopping that up and then giving that to Ryan. You know what I mean? But in a sense, I like it because it's building the fight up too. It's building the fight up. It's making it more juicy. Everybody want to see it more and more.
Tank fans don't want to see it.
I want to see it.
Most Tank fans
my whole thing was
Freak
this
want
though.
to see it. Ray want to see it.
Tank fans.
When he say they don't want to see it, he talking about the Tank fans. Because they be like, we don't want to see it now.
I want to see
we
it.
don't need to see it.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
If they can make it happen, I want to see it.
No, but this my thing, no Big Dre. This my thing, no Big Dre. They running around acting like since they saw that, they saying, "Oh, Tank beat up Devin," but all of the points where Devin is, they didn't show none of his work. 3 times in the video, we see Tank with his back on the ropes all of a sudden, but they don't show how he got there, how Devin got him there. They just cut out all of his work, and it's a big misconception that Devin didn't do anything but defend and run around the ring. That's what a lot of people actually think.
That's not.
Let me put it to you.
I blame the people who looking at it because clearly somebody can see that it's chopped up and people warping all over the place, but they just want to believe it one way. They want to say, "Oh, Devin was lying. Devin didn't beat up Tank. Tank beat up Devin."
They think
but you gotta understand that the tape was edited to be that way. The tape was edited to be that way so everybody could look at it that way.
But if you look at what people's talking points are, though, people are saying stuff like AB didn't lie. This person didn't lie. Okay, well, if they're not liars, then we got to take everything that they said then. Tank himself said it was a back and forth and everything, nothing crazy. But that video makes it look like it was crazy because you don't see the other back. You see the back, but you don't see the fourth.
Absolutely. And you're right about that. But
wait a minute
Floyd is the one that put that tape out. He's
No,
the
he
one
didn't.
praising it.
Well,
What's
Ray
crazy?
a
Ryan
football
Garcia
player.
put it out, but I don't know. I think Floyd probably gave it to him, but I don't
So
think Floyd himself chopped it up. He probably paid somebody
I'm
else
saying if
to
he
chop
gave
it
it
up.
to him, if he gave it to Ryan, come on, bro. He know what type of dude Ryan is, bro. You didn't think that it was a chance that video was gonna get leaked?
It's
Listen,
crazy though.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
They
gonna put
And
it.
smart.
I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it.
this my
It's
last point
it's
on
a
it, y'all, right
highlight
here.
film. It's a highlight film for Tank. So
Exactly.
as a highlight film for Tank, if
Yeah, but this my last thing though. People think
Tank was a football player,
I hear people saying, okay, we got the first part of the tape. We don't need to see the second half of the tape. That's a misconception too. This highlight film is taken from the whole spar match because clearly you see more footage after Adrian Broner jumped in the ring. The second half supposed to happen after that, but we see a bunch of highlights from Tank then too after that. So this is every moment that he had in both of the times that they sparred.
No, that was one sparring session.
They like to say that it's two sparring sessions because they say when Adrian jumped in, they stopped and then supposedly started again. That was what AB's story
they didn't
was.
start again, they just continued because the money was on the table. That's why Bill jumped in there. Bill actually explained this on It Is What It Is.
Yeah.
With Cam, and he explained that what happened was there was money on the fight. And that's why when Adrian jumped in there, that's when Bill jumped in there like, what you doing? There's money going on. So they just continued that same fight. But when they talk about them having two fights, they're saying that there was another fight that they also fought that I think Devin might have been 14 years old that Upton Gym.
Yeah, that happened in Baltimore.
Yeah,
right.
they're 1-1, man. They're 1-1. Tank.
Hey, Big Dre,
yes, sir.
Big Dre, did you see?
Shout out to TV.
Big Dre, did you was talking about you saw Devin knees buckles? Did you see AB knees buckle? He looked like he was stepping like Devin Haney when Linares tagged him in that fight. That's how Adrian Broner legs was looking when he walked in there.
He didn't walk into that. He jumped into that.
Well, we didn't see him jump in. We saw him walking. We saw him with that stiff step. With that stiff leg all over, with his toe all over.
Again, the tape was put out to make the 2 points. Adrian Broner was telling the truth when he said that he jumped in.
But he was lying. He lied though.
Wait a minute. He said that he jumped in. Did he jump in? Did you see Adrian Broner jump in the ring?
Nobody disputed that. That part is irrelevant. Y'all keep holding on to that like that was a point to make. That was no point. That was irrelevant because nobody disputed that Adrian Broner jumped in the ring. Nobody disputed that.
He never did.
He said it was a lie that he was hurt because Adrian Broner. The reason he said he jumped in the ring is what they was disputing because Bill Haney said they said he jumped in the ring, but they said he was drunk and he was from the other corner. That's what they said from the beginning.
Right.
They said that because his whole thing was for jumping in the ring. He said he jumped in the ring. He jumped in the ring to save Devin because he said Devin went out. And that was the part that they was denying, saying no, he ain't go out or whatever. At him point, jumping in the ring don't prove nothing. It just proved that.
At that point, Devin's back was to the camera.
Also, I also want to add to the fact that there was money on the line, right? So why would AB go in there to save Devin when Devin losing was vital to him winning the money? AB was concerned about his money. It don't matter.
Devin was a minor.
Dre, did you see Bernie the boxer? What he said about it? Did y'all see what Bernie the boxer said?
No, I didn't see that.
Enlighten us for people that didn't enlighten us.
Oh, he basically said it's like your girl, man. When your girl asks you, sleep? Did you go out with another girl or whatever? And you tell her, no, I was on over my man crib. Yeah, you was over your man crib, but you ain't tell her. You left out the part that you stopped. You telling a partial truth. That's what he did. He said he jumped in the ring, but he said he jumped in the ring because before that he said Devin went out. He said Tank hit him, boom, then Tank hit him again, boom, and he was out. And then he said he jumped in the ring.
Right.
So him jumping in the ring is not really the main point that we were supposed to be looking at.
Okay.
Well, like I said,
I mean, obviously he
it's
jumped in the
8
ring
years old.
because Devin was
It looked
getting
like
beat up.
Devin got cracked.
Think he
Tank
fell
said
off.
he cracked him. Adrian said he jumped in the ring. They all said that the Haney's walked away with the money.
Okay. And
Okay.
also, did Tank not say also that Devin did get the best of him when he got because he was tired?
Yes, Tank said
Okay.
that.
All right. So we do need to understand that was said. Because a lot of people do hide the fact that happened because all they see is Tank getting off. Now, can I also say that did you honestly see Devin looking like he was out on his feet at all?
His back was to the camera.
Nah, it just looked like he was getting beat up a little bit.
Right. No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
His back was to the camera when he took them
it,
last 2 punches before AB jumped in.
Okay.
Okay. Now, again, from my point of view, from my perspective, this is my opinion
hold on,
and
Bradley,
my opinion only.
It
looked like his knees buckled. It looked like he stumbled back,
your phone, Clay.
bounced off the rope, and stumbled forward.
Clay, your phone.
And
what's going on my phone?
Okay.
And he was caught. He was caught, pushed back by AB.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's my perspective. That's what I saw.
Okay.
And again, we talking about an 8-year-old sparring video.
Right.
It's like practice.
Okay.
What Allen Iverson say about practice? Man, we talking about practice.
Y'all got to let it go, man. Let it go. Let it go.
Again, this is where the part where
I'm willing to let it go. I want to talk about the fight coming up this weekend because I think Francis Ngannou will knock AJ out.
Y'all heinous clan is y'all feelings are hurt behind this 8-year-old tape, man.
Bradley, before you even go there, hold on. Dre is a Tank fan and he brought it up. So don't even go there.
Okay.
Slow down. Hold on. Let me rebuttal this. Let me rebuttal this because I'm not arguing with my man here, Big Dre.
Baltimore strong, baby.
You know what I mean? I'm just trying to ask questions because I want the answers that I need for the public. I don't really care. Like I told everybody, I really don't care about this.
You care.
Yeah.
Let him go. Let him go, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I got the shield up now.
Exactly.
You care. Don't feed me that. Hey, don't piss on my back and tell him his range.
Got my battle armor on now.
All right. So listen.
Man, I put on his hood. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, man. Let me tell you something. If you know me, matter of fact, you see my man right here in the corner, he know who I am. You know what I mean? You see this dude next to me, he knows who I am. I talk to him every day. If they really thought I was lying about this, they'll call me out on it. I don't really have a dog in the fight on this. Now, like I told everybody, I don't care about this sparring tape. The sparring tape is what it is. It's just news and something to talk about because everyone that keeps talking about it. I don't need to address this. I'm not going to get caught in my feelings on something like this because it doesn't matter. You're trying to push the envelope. I get it. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with trolling. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to talk to this dude right here on something, and you just not let me talk because you want to troll me. It's cool. I got that. It's time for that. Let me finish deal with him, and I can deal with you. That's not a problem, bro. I can cook.
No, Ray, video matter to me. It mattered to me.
See, here you go. You hear this man right here in the middle underneath me? He said it matters to him, so y'all can cook on that.
And he's been on 12 channels screaming his head off.
Y'all can cook on that because at the end of the day,
it mattered to me.
I don't really care because it don't mean
ain't no clan in the building.
It don't mean nothing to me. All right, so Dre, as I was saying,
ain't no clan got blood to spare, bro.
Go ahead, Ray. Dre.
I got you.
Exactly. You see what my brother said? It was a sparring session. That's why I don't care. But all right, so now, Dre, only thing I was asking to what you were saying was I was asking if he was out on his feet. You answered that. And then I wanted to ask you. You said because his back was to the camera. We didn't see it or something, right? So
yeah, I couldn't tell if he was out on his feet.
Huh?
I couldn't tell if he was out.
No,
on
no,
his
that's
feet.
what I said. You said you couldn't tell. I said that. Didn't I? If I didn't, I
Right.
apologize. I thought that's what I said. So
That was my whole thing with people. They be being dishonest, bro.
Give me a second. I just want to address this. So when we seen AB jump in the ring, did Devin look delusional, like out of place or out of function when he was like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
It looked like his knees buckled. Okay.
It just looked like
you couldn't even see his knees, bro.
I ain't gonna say he was out on his feet, but I'm gonna say that he was getting beat up.
He did get. Listen, I said that. Didn't I start off
He got
saying
cracked.
he was getting clipped? I said
When BFTB slowed it down and played it in slow motion, the punch didn't even hit. The punch grazed and came between his glove, and he was holding his hand with the glove.
All right, well, go ahead. Y'all cook. I'm gonna step off. I was trying to address that, but it's cool. We going. I'm gonna step
Y'all ain't going. Y'all
Stand
don't want me
down,
to
Ray.
talk.
We in battle right now. Stand down.
Y'all don't want me to talk.
Let's move.
Y'all don't want me to talk. No,
Put
I
your
want
shield on, bro.
Go ahead, Bradley. Go ahead. Now, get on in there, baby. Cook.
No, Bradley, we
say
definitely
freaking fly. Yeah, freaking fly. Answer me about the 20 straight punches Devin took. I like Devin, but answer me that. Was that all manufactured and cut up and put on the tape?
Bro, it wasn't 20 straight punches, bro. Tank might have threw like 17. He might have threw, and that I know what y'all be talking about when y'all keep talking about, oh, he hit him with 25 straight punches, 20 straight punches. The number be changing like crazy, like night and day. But it was only 17 punches thrown by Tank, and y'all act like every last one of those punches hit.
All right,
y'all be delusional, bro.
I didn't count the punches. I counted the seconds. There were 30 seconds.
Oh, now they going to seconds with it. So what? And so if you don't throw no punches in a couple seconds.
Hold on. Wait. I gotta introduce somebody. I gotta bring somebody in the room. There's a friend of mine. I'll be building with her all the time, bro. You know what I mean? She's actually like almost like a mentor to me in the game because she be schooling me so much. I definitely want to bring in the room. Y'all know who she is already, but I gotta give it a proper intro. How you know, man? Mind your business, Jose. Mind your business. Shout out to the one and only Rachel Donaire in the building.
Rachel, my queen.
How we doing this evening?
Salute, Rachel.
Is my mic good, guys?
Yeah, you sound real good. You sound good.
Okay,
I see them belts back there. I see Nonito. I see you shining right now.
Yeah, he's walking around and stuff. He might join later. But yeah, so what are we on right now? Because when I was at the gym, I was listening to you guys, talking about different stuff. I think I was hearing you guys talk about the sparring tape.
Right.
Yeah, they talking about the sparring tape. They talking
off, Rachel. I almost blew my head off for it.
What?
They talking about the sparring tape, and they're saying like we're at the point where they're saying that
let it go,
Tank threw 25 punches, unanswered punches or whatever.
Hold on.
Listen, at the end of the day, the majority of the people that are arguing with this couldn't even drink 8 years ago. They were under the age of 21. So why are we talking about this? Like, I'm sorry, and this is why I haven't talked about it, because it wasn't last month. Okay. Being that 8 years ago, how old were my kids? Well, one of them had just been born, right? He was totally walking around. Claymore's heard them in the background when we've talked on the phone, running them up. This is, this is time. And the amount of time that has passed has changed both fighters in their careers. There's people that Tank fought. Of course, Devin, I don't know if he was already a pro by then, if he had made his debut, but has fought a plethora of fighters, in addition to that. And I know I talked to Claymore about this, coming off of the amateurs, or 16, 17 years old, 1 or 2 pro fights. Like there's a difference in your mentality. There's a difference in your training. There's a difference in how you fight. And there's a transition period. And if nobody believes me, take a look at Lomachenko. Look at what happened on his second fight. I mean, it's proven there's a transition period. So with all those different factors, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's boxing talk. It's just something to talk about. That's all it really is.
Hey, freaking fly and Rollo. Let it go.
Boxing, but at the same time, like, was it yesterday's boxing, or are we going to start bringing up fights that were 8 years ago? Because we're not.
Know what I think it is?
No, and sparring. Okay, this is how it is. We wear big old 16-ounce gloves with headgears, all that stuff. So it doesn't really matter. And then, like some guys be bragging, oh yeah, I beat Nonito up and then I knocked his ass out in the fight. So shit like that can it's so different. Fights are so different compared to sparring. So when you're comparing about sparring, I don't really give a fuck about it because it doesn't matter. In a real fight, you're not wearing a headgear. Every little punch that I'm gonna hit you with, you're gonna feel it. And I'm gonna disrupt everything that you do because jabbing itself can derail everything that you're planning to do, or whatever it may be. Sparring is sparring. That's it. Like, I got dropped in sparring before in body shots, but then, stuff like that. But then when you go in the fight, it don't happen, because you're trying something different. You're planning for some guy out there, and that's why you don't look at how the sparring is going, because you're thinking of the guy that you're fighting and how he's gonna do it. And sometimes the guy in front of you is doing something different, and you experiment with things, and so every time sparring comes out differently. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there, like my older brother used to be. He was the sparring champ. He was so good in sparring. He beat the crap out of me, but when he came to the fight, he didn't have nothing. He was so scared. So all of that stuff can be a big difference when it comes down to sparring, because there's a lot of headgears, there's big gloves,
But this was even doghouse rules, so it wasn't even like 3 minutes sparring, 1 minute off. 3 minutes sparring, 1 minute off, like rounds.
Yo, Nonito, come on the camera, bro.
And shout out to Nonito. Drop the bomb for him, Clay. Drop the bomb for Nonito. Get a chance.
This is not Rumble where you could be naked or only.
It's all right. We're mostly men here, Nonito. We're okay. No, I'm just kidding. Pause.
Thank you, Nonito. So Freaker Flyer can move on. Thank you so much for explaining it. Freaker Flyer and Rollo Green, you can now move on.
Yeah.
Who that talking? That's Bradley 68.
Let's be real. They both have gotten better since that sparring. Like, they're both amazing fighters right now, and we just want to see the fight happen. Period.
So
exactly, that's why we be talking about the sparring. That's what I think it is. The people think, the Tank fans think they got one up, and then everybody want to talk about it because that's the fight that we want to see. At least that's what I
got
like
one
to
up
think.
in a kid with how he got one up in a kid with 17.
All right, but your boy
brought it
because y'all got video
on your record.
No, but
I don't care about the video. I don't care about the video.
But Bradley, hold on.
I don't care.
Hold on. So this
all the fighters. Huh?
Hold on, salute. Wait, Nonito about to say something.
I know. I just want to say something real quick. This is what I noticed. Now, I'm going to stay neutral in this atmosphere because I'm letting you guys go at it. But what I've noticed in every channel I've been on, it's always been the Tank fans that bring up the video or they bring up the sparring, and then they get upset when the Devin Haney fans or Devin Haney supporters come and counter it. That is the issue. That's what you're saying right now, that Freakin brought it up or Rollo brought it up. Big Dre came on here and started the conversation, and he said he's Baltimore proud. So why are we sitting here blaming someone else here, Bradley? Like, that's what I always talk about. And
I don't care who brought it up. When I first seen it, I thought it was 8 years ago. I didn't care.
Okay, but now you're making an accusation, and again, this is just me telling you that you're making an accusation to someone else, and it's not true. And then this is how things get started and rumors get started, and this is where a lot of the debates happen, where people are getting heated. That's all I'm just trying to say. I would listen. Bradley, listen, in all seriousness, I know you're trolling. I'm with you. I'm laughing with you. I think everyone else is, but I just don't want you to push that narrative, because we try not to be narrative driven here. We try to be all about boxing.
Player, listen to me, player. Listen to me, player. I don't care. I'm not taking them licks. I learned a long time ago when I was a teenager. I don't affect nothing. I like to watch it, and if they fight, they fight. If they don't, they don't. When I first seen the sparring match, I was like, why everybody so crazy about this sparring match? And the kid was 17. So it didn't affect me. I just listened. Freaking Flyer just be on everybody's channel. I just like messing with him and Rollo. But I don't care about who cares who wins. I'm not taking no licks. I'm not a member of none of these kids' family.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right, fair enough.
All right,
You see, I got the skill going.
Hold on. Let's let Nonito bill right quick. I don't want to have to clear the panel. So y'all be like, let Nonito speak right quick.
Well, when it comes down to all of that stuff, people are going to talk about, because they're fans of the fighter and they want to see it fight. And, everybody got their own pride, their loyalty to a particular fighter. And so the people are going to talk about it. But as a professional fighter, for me, sparring don't really amount to anything, because first, the headgear again, and then the big gloves. We're not using 8-ounce gloves. We're using twice the amount, 16-ounce. And ultimately, when you're going out there to train, you're training out there. And I mean, for them, I think they was trying to go at it in the first place. But, again, ultimately, when it comes down to it, it was a long time ago. Sparring is sparring. There's different ways of doing things. I've sparred guys before that did better than me in sparring, but then I ended up knocking them out in the fight. It's just completely different. But that's me as a professional fighter. I don't really care too much about the sparring. But of course, everybody's going to talk about it because they want to see the fight.
100%. And that's, I think that's the most important thing, Nonito. And that's why I've been preaching as far as, all right, the sparring is great. We seen the sparring, but we all in agreement that we want to see this fight at this point. At what point does a conversation about the fight start to become the big topic? The big topic should be Devin and Tank fighting. Not about what happened in the sparring tape. I have no problem speaking about what happened in the sparring tape just for shits and giggles, but ultimately, where is this going? Are we going into a fight with Devin and Tank fighting? And that's the most important thing, I think, about the whole thing, is about boxing happening inside of the ring. As boxing fans, we need to be more focused on seeing boxing and not so caught up in arguing about hypothetical possibilities and sparring tapes from 10 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that's how the fans are always gonna be doing it, and they convince themselves completely, like just how they, just an example, the Spence and Crawford fight, we never know what was gonna happen. We didn't even expect that to happen the way it did happen, and the thing is, when it's not happening, when people have something going in their mind, they're gonna make things up in their head. You know what I mean? They're gonna say, "Oh, my guy's better than your guy. My guy's gonna knock you guys out." Blah blah blah. This and this and that, and that's why we get so emotional about it and invested emotionally with the whole thing, is because we feel that our guy is better or their guy is not that, stuff like that, and it just goes back and forth. And then you just want to try to prove the point. And, by giving all this example about going to this fight, see if he fought this way, you see how he did this, he did that. That's how he's going to do this other dude. So there's just so many things that goes in people's mind, and it gets crazy,
I think, to Claymore's point, I think, if we're going to talk to people about the sparring tape and to have a conclusion on the sparring tape is really more so if a Tank fan's like, oh, we already got you, then it really is to move the post over to an actual fight. It's like, well, I mean, if it was that easy in sparring, then prove it in the real fight. And the same thing goes for him fans. If they're saying, well, they didn't show X amount of the footage, so we're not getting our just due, and we got him in the sparring. It's like, all right, cool. Then you wouldn't have an issue with fighting, right? You know what I'm saying? Like this narrative or this tape can lead a discussion or a push towards the fight, but we're nitpicking so much on this video instead of saying, cool, if that's how you felt 8 years ago and you still feel this way, that you have the upper hand, each team does, then let's see you both prove it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then that's going to be the final say, is what happens in that ring tomorrow or today. What, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
No doubt. 1 second, right quick. Guys, I'm actually going to pull down a couple of you guys because I want to narrow it down a little bit. I want to get a little bit more of a conversation with Nonito and Rachel a bit. I'm going to bring up somebody, so I'm going to pull you guys down right quick. And if you guys want to hang out in the back, you can. I'll pull you back in as soon as we get cooking a little bit. I want to bring my boy Mazuma TV in. All right, so I'm gonna. If y'all want to come down, I'll bring you down right now. All right, and shout out to my boy Mark Mazuma TV in the building. know now, that's my brother right there. That dude right there, he's a trainer out of Philadelphia. Works out of Pivot Gym. He works with a lot of fighters in the game. His father is to me, he's an OG to me. I respect him. I respect Lando to the fullest, and I'm so proud to have you on the stage tonight. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm doing real good, man. I wanted you to have an opportunity to build. And shout out to Nonito and Rachel for coming on to the show. I know how busy you guys are. I know Nonito happens to be. I know Nonito. I'm not gonna put his business out there, but him being on here right now, that's mad love because I know how his day has been today specifically. You know what I'm saying? And I know that he found
got back, man.
I know
Crazy.
from across the land. You know what I mean? And you found a way to come on the show and give me a few minutes of your time. I really appreciate you showing up.
Good conversation, brother. Good conversation. Good people. Good energy, man. That's what it's all about.
Thank you. So I wanted to get into some topics, right? And I know one of the topics is definitely going to be Ryan. We definitely going to talk about Ryan for sure. You know what I'm saying? You know we got to because it's too wild. We can't duck the smoke. We got to talk about it. He put his business out there. We're going to talk about him. And I also want to know what you guys feel about the Canelo Alvarez PBC situation, him leaving, coming back supposedly, now fighting Mexicans. He said he wasn't going to fight a Mexican. Now he's fighting 2 Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? Supposedly. So how crazy things can change in boxing and you know, and all the rumors that were going around, how we're at this point right now, how interesting it is. So, but we can talk about Ryan right now because me and Rachel talk about Ryan. We've been talking about Ryan for the past couple of days. The Twitter has been moving faster than our minds can move. Like, what? He just said what? He just did what? It's been so crazy. So Ryan Garcia, we talked about a little bit earlier this evening, but as far as the number one question I want to ask the panel right now is this fight happening on April 20th or not? At this point, how you guys feel about that?
I think personally, something's going on mentally with him. I don't think it's anything for show. I think that, you know, first and foremost, he had to cancel the fight because of emotional distress and all that stuff. Now it shows how crazy things are going in his head, and you know, whether he's telling the truth or not, in our perspective, it sounds crazy. It looks crazy. It's hard to believe. And he's talking about demons and gods and all this other stuff. You know, it's you know, and I personally have met numerous people who have mental health issues that they believe in their mind. Like they get this thing that they really believe things are happening. They get paranoid, you know. I don't know what he went through and all of that stuff, but for me as a person looking in, or from the outside looking in, it's crazy. You know, I don't think it's any show to make it look like he's trying to sell a fight, because I'm not gonna watch the fight and talking about all that stuff. You know, it's just crazy. It looks to me like he don't want the fight to happen anymore, or it looks to me that the stress is getting into him. You know, all that stuff. I mean, I just don't see. It the way. I mean, the fight happening. I don't see it in any way that is trying to promote anything. I think that it goes beyond his mental state. I guess it goes beyond with his emotional turmoil, and his experiences. You know, I think that this is just him, just being, I guess we call it crazy, but him being honest to himself. You know, because he thinks that this is happening to him. This is what he feels inside of him. You know, and it's going crazy for us. We're like, dude, this dude is crazy, man. Someone would take his account from him. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, there's two things about that whole aspect. I know you were the very first one because, like I said, I believe I watched New York when I saw snippets of the LA one. I think I was in the sauna when you called me and you're like, it's on this part. He said this. Did you hear this? And I had to play it over and over again. I told Nonito about it. And I'm like, and we were like, do we say something? Do we not say something? Do we say something? Remember, we were going back and forth about this, Claymore? And then
it's a sensitive topic. It was like, do we leave this? You know, it seems sensitive.
Yeah, the defiled
I think him coming out with it more and more has made us more comfortable speaking.
Hey, with her though, no words escape her ears, man. I'm telling you, I'm like, yeah.
I'll tell you what I told Claymore later because he was like, seriously? But anyway, I'm like a dictionary. I'm like, actually. So you know, so then I texted you. I'm like, dude, he came out with it on Twitter. Remember, I was like, right here, and I had to get screenshots of it because I think he did use the word grape, and then I think they deleted that tweet. But I think the one that says grape is still there. But you know, they're like, as far as that's concerned, I heard you talk about it earlier. I think that he used the LA presser as a way to take it off of his shoulders, and then it backfired on him because people didn't say, "Oh my God, Ryan, what happened? Like, are you okay?" Because from that presser, what came was, I believe, some racial comments or things like that between Henry and Bill. So it got deflected, and he's over here trying to tell you something happened to me, and this whole, now the whole story is coming out, and I think what you're seeing is more of a type of manic episode. Not saying he's not telling the truth, but it's like, now you're not hearing me. Blah, like, this is everything that happened. The only thing that irritates me, like, if that's true and this is your stance, and because that's not a joke, is the whole weird thing about like the devil hacking his freaking Twitter account. Like, then I'm like, dude, I can't take you seriously. Like, if you're telling me this happened to you, I'm like, dude, like, get help, right? But you talking to yourself on Twitter is really not helping your case.
Right.
So
it makes you look really, really crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've talked about going. It's going to cost us probably a cool 15 grand, right? Like, the tickets we were looking at were about $3 grand each. Then hotel, flights, night, like, week in New York.
It's just too bougie, man. I'm telling you. I'm like, hey, just put me on Motel 6 or something where there's a bed, and then I don't even care if there's bed bugs.
I live over here, so I know this spot.
Nonito was like, I promise you, I can cut a solid 10 grand.
I got the hookups over here.
We'll see.
Right outside the city.
Cling wrap, man. That thing can't get in there.
happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy life, brother. You already know what the secret to success is. That's what we're working for. You know.
But I mean, you guys touched on it earlier. Like, one is, with this fight being like up in the air, the whole like bringing Barbosa into the mix on the press conference when no one's ever done that, and then also not knowing the full undercard. I'm like, do I want to play 15 grand that Ryan Garcia is going to step in the ring versus Devin Haney? Because if it's not him and it's someone else, let's say it's not even Barbosa, let's say Sandro Martin steps in and is upset about his mandatory, and he steps in. Like, do I want to? And I'm not saying I don't want to see those fights. What I'm saying is, for $15,000, is that worth it for me? If like there's certain fights I'll spend the money to go to a fight, and there's ones that I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my living room and pay for the pay-per-view, and I'll just buy drinks and food and be comfortable being on the couch. Because at the end of the day, I'm a huge boxing fan. Number one, it just, for me, it's determined if I want to be there, like, personally, or just sit on my couch and watch it.
No doubt, no doubt. Mark, you want to tap in? You're probably muted. No, I don't hear you. All right, come back on. I'll grab you as soon as I see you. I really want Mark to tap in because he really is on point. But go ahead, Ray. Do you want to tap in?
Yeah, no. Salute to you guys, by the way. I'm a huge fan, Nonito.
Thank you, brother.
I really never got to talk to you but once on, I believe it was Fanon's channel. And Rachel, I see you all the time in the chat. We talk back and forth, and you're a big supporter. I appreciate it. Being the co-host of the show, I always have to say that, Clay is very on point with things. I call him the predictor because he predicts so many things. It's crazy. Rachel, I'm pretty sure you talk to Clay and you're like, wow, how'd you know that, right? And it's amazing now how he says things and it just comes to fruition. I was telling him the same thing, and I was basically on the same terms as you, Nonito, where I was saying that this just doesn't seem right. And I hope, the guys out here doing one thing and then training in the next session on a video, and then he's telling everybody he's going to be at the fight. Then he's, giving different opinions on, or not opinions, thoughts of what's happening to him, and putting different videos and tapes out. The guy seems like he's doing it. To me, it seems like he's doing it on purpose to falsify a claim that he is crazy, which we already know he is. We can see that because you wouldn't even do stuff like this if you're not, to some point or degree, having some type of mental breakdown. If these things are happening to him, I talked to Clay earlier, and I was like, dude, I actually feel bad because, that's what we don't want. I'm going to let Izzy hold this thought, and I'm going to let Mazuma go.
Y'all can hear me now, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, clear as day.
Okay, cool. Before I get started, I just want to say, man, it's a pleasure to be on the platform with Clay, Ray, and especially Nonito. This is my first time ever speaking to him. And I've grown up in the boxing gym my whole life, man. I watched, like, ever since I was a kid, I watched Nonito come up, whether it was on HBO, when he fought Walters, Darchinian, and all them. So to see you and be able to speak to you right now is pretty dope, man. And beside every great man is a great woman. So I never talked to Rachel as well, but salute to both of y'all. It's a pleasure to be on with y'all. But regarding the whole Ryan Garcia situation, man, it seems like it's getting more and more deep as like the days go on. It's like he's spiraling more and more out of control from what I'm seeing with Ryan Garcia. And it's an unfortunate situation because I was one of the people that was under the impression that it was trolling. You know what I mean? And Ryan Garcia was giving us like some sort of reassurance that he was trolling as he was doing his jog and posting videos and stuff like that. But as the days continued to go on, the things he was saying just seemed to be more and more out of line. And it got to the point where I'm like, will he really take it this far? Will he take the trolling this far? You know what I mean? Him being like a devout Christian, from what he tells us, him speaking from the perspective of a demon and like insinuating that he had been murdered and all types of stuff like that, man, is absolutely ridiculous at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And he's telling you right at the press conferences that he's engaging in activities that he shouldn't be getting engaged in, whether it's the drinking or the smoking. He's telling you that he's not focused. You know what I mean? He's telling you that at this point in time, his mind isn't really on Devin Haney. You feel what I mean? So it got to the point where I'm starting to feel like, okay, this is beyond trolling now. You know what I mean? It's beyond trolling at this point. I really think that there's some underlying issues that Ryan Garcia isn't really attending to at this time, and I think that's why he's acting out right now. So at this point in time, man, and what's really going on with his antics and all of that is getting to the point where fans are genuinely concerned about the dude, and it seems like the interest with the fight is starting to go down more. You know what I mean? Like these antics and this trolling is really taken away from the fight because now people are under the impression that this fight isn't going to be competitive anymore because this man isn't in the right state of mind.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So with that being known, is like, bro, at this, like, I don't want to see Ryan Garcia step in the ring with Devin Haney if his mind is there. I want to see a fully focused Ryan Garcia. I want to see somebody who's on a mission. I want to see him in training camp with Derrick James, really working on things, going over strategies. I don't want to see him going on Andrew Tate's live and speaking all this obscene stuff that we really can't speak on here. You know what I mean? So with that being known, it's like, bro, and I think I heard Rachel bring it up, them bringing up Arnold Barboza. I think that was strategic. You know what I mean? Why speak on why have a press conference strictly for the main event? All of a sudden you just throw like a wild card in there. All right, and we're gonna introduce Arnold Barboza. Don't even introduce his opponent. Do we even know who Arnold Barboza is fighting? Absolutely not. So I think that Golden Boy knows something that we don't know at this point in time, and I think that they're not very optimistic or sure that Ryan Garcia is going to step in the ring with Devin Haney on April 20th. So with that being known, let's introduce Arnold Barboza just in case, you know what I mean, Ryan Garcia doesn't show up. You know what I mean? So I think it was all strategic. And as the days go on and on, I think it's gonna get to a point where we're gonna get that announcement that Ryan Garcia is gonna be pulled out due to his mental health issues, and they feel like that's what's in best interest of Ryan Garcia. And Devin Haney will be fighting Arnold Barboza. So if I'm Devin Haney, Bill Haney, DHP Promotions, I'm starting to look at some Arnold Barboza footage right now. That's just me. You know what I mean? I think he should be studying Arnold Barboza and preparing for a totally different style. You know what I mean? Because I think that as the days go on, it's becoming more and more far-fetched.
Definitely. I gotta agree with you guys, man. I definitely think that's inconvenient truth and a unfortunate reality that we might be facing sooner rather than later as this thing starts to turn out. Oh, shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV's in the building. Blue, you trying to come up here, man? It'll be the first time you came up here. It'll be the first time you came up here. That's my boy, man. That's the OG for sure. I want to also take a moment to bring one more person on the panel outside of Blue. If Blue is coming up here as well. She's, you know her, Rachel. I think you should know her. 2 Cents Boxing, man. She's one of the female content creators in this space right now that I think is really up and coming. She knows her stuff. She's really passionate about the sport, and there's not a lot of female content creators in this space like that. You got a handful of them, but she's definitely up and coming for me for sure. So shout out to 2 Cents Boxing in the building.
What up, panel? What up, chat? What up, Rachel?
Nonito? What up?
Noma, Clay, appreciate you. Thank you for letting me come on the panel. What's going on, y'all? I just got on and seen you was up here. What we talking about? I heard y'all talking about Ryan. This is the thing with Ryan. If Ryan is serious, and I've seen this type of situation happen before from my own personal experience with a family member, where they basically had a psychotic break, right? And at first you think they're playing or they bullshitting, and you're like, man, dude, quit tripping, right? And it just escalates and get worse and worse and worse. And I think the fact that Ryan has been told us that he has mental health issues and nobody wanted to take him serious, and they wanted to keep trying to say he just using it as an excuse to get out the fight. I don't think so. I don't believe that. And maybe the pressure of him getting into these fights is what's causing these maybe manic episodes or psychotic breaks that he's having. But on the flip side, just like Mazuma, is that your name right? Mazuma TV was saying, it's kind of weird that they had Barbosa speaking at the press conference like, oh, if anything happened, this the replacement. So that to me was kind of weird. Like, that's odd. Like, why is he even there? So either they knew something was going on with Ryan already, and they were like hoping he could make it to the fight, which I don't think that was in his best interest, because all you kind of done is put more pressure on him and bring out more of the mental illness, and it's coming off as like y'all just using him to promote that fight, which is also not fair. And I don't know. And like he said, he feels like he's being taken advantage of. You could take that how you want, but to me, this whole situation is it's weird, it's odd, and I honestly think that I hope that they are able to admit Ryan and he gets the help that he needs, because all the things that he's exhibited are signs of a manic episode. You got the drinking, you got the OnlyFans models, you got the spending the money. He in the shoe store buying everybody's shoes. He divorced his wife the day she had a baby. Like, all of that type of stuff, that's a manic episode. And I guess people not really familiar like that with mental illness, but I'm very keen to it, and I know a lot about it. And like I said, if I've experienced myself, they absolutely have to get Ryan help. And it's kind of hard to do because he's an adult. So you can't just be like, oh, he needs to go to the hospital. Like, he has to really do something extreme before he's able to be admitted. So I hope they get him help, and maybe fighting is just not going to be the sport for him. He just can't handle the pressure. I don't know. But I think this is way beyond, I'm just trying to get out of a fight. And I kind of wish people would quit saying that, because I think this is deeper than that, and it should be taken more serious.
Totally agree.
And the thing too with that is that when they don't think that they're doing something wrong, they think that they're doing something right, that they're just going out there. Because I mean, I've seen it as well with family members, and no matter how much you help them, they just don't think they're doing something wrong. And no matter how much you try to lead them, they just don't think that they're doing something wrong. And then that's the hardest thing, is you can't tell an adult to get help when they don't feel like they're doing that, they need help.
Right.
I don't know. It's tough to deal with. It's very hard. And like, I know his mom and dad is just crushed right now. And unless they already kind of knew this, and maybe he was on medication and he stopped taking it, because that could also throw you in a manic episode. There's so many different things that could have caused this to happen.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I understand. Like I said, I don't know about other states. I know in New Jersey there's see something, say something law or whatever that helps people in these situations. I do have a family member also. My aunt actually passed away because she actually found a tumor. Unfortunately, and that was her reasoning for going through these things. And that was just a little over a year ago, where she passed. But she was going through it for like 5 years. So I definitely know. And then drinking with those type of medicines do not help situations. If he is drinking and those things, and I think that's very serious to be taken for those points. Now, as far as getting at the fight or anything like that, I think these are all things that we can speculate on, but we don't have to, in question only. Doesn't mean that we are with that type of situation, because this is something serious. I think we all came to the same conclusion that this is a serious matter. And I agree with everyone on the panel. When we see certain things and certain actions and the person doesn't feel like they're being helped, they cry for help. And if people are not acknowledging that, then that becomes difficult. And then they start reaching into other atmospheres to pull people in. And these are the things that we see in these situations. Now, and this could be the case. And it didn't help that Oscar probably knew that something was going on, and he pulled in another fighter. And like you said, both of you, Mazuma and 2 Cents, Clay even told me this too, and made an appearance on stage to tell him that he was going through this situation. I mean, that they're going to put him in during this situation. Like, basically, I'm just going to exclude you and throw you out because you're not showing me that you're ready for this fight, or whatever the case may be, without discussing it with him. It just looked like it was just like, okay, what just happened? Because right after that, he starts playing Dora the Explorer on his phone, like while Devin's talking, and then he didn't even really do the face-off. He looked like he just couldn't take it no more and just walked off on the face-off. So it was definitely something there that just didn't seem right.
Yeah, he looked like he was on the verge of imploding on the stage. And just to add to what everybody's been saying on the panel, just to say that Ryan Garcia had a lot of pressure put on him early in his career, and I think Golden Boy, had a lot of hope for where his career was going to go. But at the same time, I'm just picturing Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins kind of being honest with him at one point in his career, because there was a point where him and Canelo and Eddie Reynoso had a moment of clarity, right, where Eddie Reynoso was kind of like saying this kid needs a lot more work, and doesn't seem to be ready to commit and sacrifice the way he needs to in order for him to transition into where you guys want to put him. And I think at that moment, Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins kind of try to protect him a little bit from himself when the tank conversations would come up and those type of fights would come up. It seems like they were trying very hard to dissuade him from getting into these fights because they knew he just wasn't there yet. And I think at that point, I believe at that point that Ryan Garcia started having issues with his confidence, in my opinion. I think that reality settling in that, these guys don't think I'm ready yet. Am I ready? I know I'm ready. Are they trying to hold me back, or is it that I'm not ready? And he took that little hiatus, right, where he tried to get his mental his mentality together. And then when he came back, really saying, I'm not going to, it's like he made a decision. I'm not listening to nobody. I'm going to hyper focus on what I believe should happen. So give me Tank Davis right now. And you could see that Oscar was really against that fight happening. He really was trying his best to dissuade Ryan from doing that. And then when Ryan goes into that fight, agreeing to that crazy rehydration clause and that catch weight, it was bad enough that his skill set wasn't there yet to be even competing with Gervonta on a playing field that was fair, but to actually give yourself a disadvantage to go into that fight, underweight, you struggling to make that 136, and then a rehydration clause where you can't gain more than 10 pounds. And then, let's be honest, Gervonta outclassed him. That fight wasn't competitive at all, in my opinion. I mean, Gervonta played, I think it looked competitive in like the first 2 rounds, the first round or two. You could say that Ryan was stalking Gervonta to a degree, but for the most part, Gervonta looked like he was just waiting for that opening. You saw it coming. You saw the ending that happened coming. It was just a matter of time for him to get that timing down. That had to do something to his mentality. Trying to blame, also not listening to Goossen, for what I understand, what rumors were saying that Goossen wasn't having that much of of success of training him as well. Then going into, I'm going to go with Derek James, right? I'm going to work with Derek James. Derek James being he doesn't play any games, right? That had to be also a shocker for him to deal with that. And then going into that Oscar Duarte fight and not listening Oscar Duarte fight, and not listening to Derek James, right? Doing the California roll or the Philly shell or whatever you want to call it, all those different names that they gave it, because we know that it was just so crazy looking. It had 1,000 names, right? Yeah, California roll, the taco shell, the you know what I'm saying? So many different names to it. Once again, his team not having confidence in him. Everybody around him like trying to protect him to get to this point right now, to where he is right now, to be getting ready to fight one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. I think it's just a lot, and I think it's beginning to crash down over his head about the reality of where he is in his career, and honesty that he needs to have with himself, that he's just not there. He has not evolved. He has not committed the time that he needs to commit to this sport for the sport to give him the results that he wants, and still having the pressure to jump in the ring with the craziest, highest level of competition that he'd be going in against. I think that could have an adverse reaction on top of his mental health and on his nerves.
Well, a lot of the things that people don't understand is when you go in a fight, your life feels like you feel like you're fighting for your life in there. You know, there's a lot of things that goes into your mind, into your body, and there's all that pressure. You know, for him, the way he's talking, it's just like he feels like he's giving up. You know, he's giving up because no one's listening to him. You know, and these are the people that are very dangerous because of the fact that you just don't know what they're gonna do. You know, like he said, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Did this and this and this and that about this about that. The elites are gonna get you if you don't shush up or whatever. It's like, I don't care. I'm protected. Like, his mind is like, he doesn't care too much about his life. He doesn't care too much about anything because he's just giving up. From the words that he's saying, he's like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a about it. You know what I'm saying? It's because not only that all his expectation of winning and ended up losing, his expectation and the people's expectation of him, of how he should be, and all of that, and the talk from both sides, and just you're gonna have people that's gonna support you, and you're gonna have a lot of haters too, and you sometimes he just can't bring it together. And so with him and having this fight with somebody who is the best in the division, it's gonna play all kinds of stuff in your head, and sometimes people give up, and that's why I think he's just in that way, instead of just like taking his break and you know what, I gotta get my mind, I gotta get my heart back, I gotta get my spirituality, or whatever he needed to do. But from the words that he's saying, from the things that he's saying, he's given up, and we just I guess pray that he finds his way, because these are the guys that are crazy enough to convince themselves to do anything, and mostly harmful to themselves.
Well, I think like at the end of the day, like one of the things that we have to understand is there are triggers for fighters, and every single fighter that especially is going in there, like he said, you have a fight or flight mentality. There's a switch that has to go off. And, and it becomes a fine line. You see, there's boxers that a high rate of domestic violence. There's also ones that abuse certain substances. And mental health is a thing. It's just not exactly the something that people want to talk about, especially in a man's sport like boxing. So, we act like we didn't see this happen with Oscar. We act like we haven't seen this with other fighters. We act like we didn't see it with Chavez Jr. just like 2-3 months ago. Yeah. Right?
Like he tried to kill himself or something like that. Yeah.
You have to say undead.
Oh, yeah.
Unalive himself.
Trying to,
Unalive.
I don't know the terms nowadays, okay?
Unalive.
Yeah.
So,
my bad.
So those, so it happens. It definitely does. And it's just, people think that fighters are invincible, that, that they're always all powerful and they never have, breaks in their mental or emotional state. And it's far from the truth. So if this is something, then I hope he seeks the medical help, and I hope he listens to the people that love him the most and follow that. At the end of the day, like, do I want to see the fight? Yes. But if he's not in the mental capacity to be there, then I don't need to see the fight that bad.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly.
100%. I agree with you guys, man. And once again, I say it's unfortunate for Devin because I know this was an opportunity for him. Again, something is going left, and he's trying to jump into this new chapter in his life, in his career, to where he's looking for the biggest fights, for the biggest prizes. He's leaving the whole legacy thing. He's giving it a break for a second, right? To say that this is going to be the chapter where I build the value up in me as a fighter. And it just seems like the universe is just not on the same page as him. And you know something, Rachel, you said earlier just now that was very significant is people do think that about fighters, right? We think you guys have the strongest wills because we understand what it takes for you guys to be in these rings. And you just picture you guys having the grit, just the ability to just weather the worst storms. And sometimes you guys do look superhuman to us. You know what I mean? And we don't know that. It's the smallest things in the world. You know, you guys run the miles you got to run. You're sitting in ice baths. You're sparring some of the hardest sparring partners you could be sparring. You're dealing with people talking smack to you all day, but it'll be the smallest little thing that will bring the insecurity out of you guys and break you guys and make you guys like human in front of us. And sometimes it's hard to transition into that thought process that you guys are human. To see Ryan Garcia going through what he's going through. It's just like, man, bro, you have everything, bro. You're rich. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got over 200 amateur fights. Who would have known that there's this insecurity in him to the point to where, he's dealing with some straight mental health issues, some severe mental health issues. You never would think about it. And even you brought up Chavez Jr. Once again, growing up in a boxing family like that. But, everybody is human, man. Everybody's human and susceptible to the same things.
And I was going to say that, Clay. I actually had that written down. Being human is hard. We always have to remember that first. There's things like adversity that come with it. Not everybody's built for adversity. And sometimes we need support systems. And that's where we have the failures because, even as kids, we even change society where kids are not even getting as they call it, bullied now. Sometimes kids used to just laugh at other kids and it would just be so bad where kids would do things to themselves. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little off topic. I'm just talking about mental health at an early stage where people don't realize it. And now, they try to stop this now in the systems where the bullying thing is not allowed. They try to make things more and teach kids about adversity and how to be friendly with each other. And it goes into adulthood. So they don't have the things. And I'm pretty sure I'm in my 40s. So, a lot of people, I don't know how, I think, Mazumi, you're in your 20s. I don't know if it was the same as you growing up for me, but you're in the inner city. I was on the borderlines of the city. But, growing up for me, you fought every day if somebody picked on you. And I'm pretty sure it's still that way, but it's not the same as, and I can see it's not the same as what it was. People are super emotional and they crack easier. We don't have those same things like where we have to build and we can determine. We fought and we played together the next minute. That's just the way it was back then. Now it's like, hey, we're gonna fight, and guess what? I'm gonna go get this bat or this stick or this knife, or I'm gonna start. Everyone's picking on me. I'm gonna start doing drugs, or I'm gonna go hurt myself. There's so many different things that happen from this situation that we need to. As society, we really need to address it. I think they've been trying to put mental health on the forefront. And it's been changing lately because people are having hard times. It doesn't help that the whole economy is going the way it is. It doesn't help that we have price gouging. All this stuff doesn't help. And when you're an entertainer, you have more responsibility in that sense of people look up to you. And when people look up to you, it's hard to now live your life and then try to be the perfect person for somebody that's supporting you. And I think these are where the things happen in the world of entertainment where you have to seek psychiatrists, or you need a great support system, a PR person, and things of that nature. Because when you don't have these things, like Nonito, his wife's his manager. They have a great support system. I'm pretty sure there's people around them that are very helpful and love them. In my life, I have my wife and my kids. They help me a lot. If I see myself getting out of control, my oldest son tells me, "Hey, Dad, slow down." I have Clay talk every day. And if I tell him something's bothering me, he gives me great advice. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And vice versa. So these support systems do help. And we just need to find a way to make it happen instead of looking to the next chapter. I think putting Barbosa on stage was not a good thing. It wasn't a great decision. It should have been talked about or discussed, or maybe not even done at that presser. So that probably was the straw that broke the camel's back, in my opinion. Now that everyone's mentioning it, it does make sense, and that could have been a big problem for this young man.
Can I ask the panel a question? I think Bradley 60 had a great question here, and I want to ask the panel the question, give everybody an opportunity to kind of give their opinion on it. But he said, answer this: does Ryan love boxing? And maybe to him, is he trying to make the most money? I think Ryan started off loving boxing, right? Like, I think without a doubt, having 200 plus amateur fights, and stories you hear about him sleeping in the car with his parents and all the things they did. But at this point, and I think this is real specific to Nonito, because you went through this journey, and I think is loving boxing an important part of being a boxer. Like, once you fall out of love with boxing, is that like a downhill type of trajectory that you're hitting at that point?
Well, that's the crazy thing is, when I box because of my dad, and then I wanted to do something else after that, but I felt like he would be disappointed if I left boxing. So I felt like I hated boxing, and I promised myself that when I become a world champion, I was going to quit right there and then, And so I got to a point where I became a world champion. I beat the Argentinian, and that was it for me. I was like, I'm going to quit right here, because I got to give you what you wanted to have a world champion. It wasn't for me, and then I was blessed to meet Rach. And when we met, she had asked me that the very question, why do you box? For me, it was like, fuck, I don't know. I don't box because I did it for my dad and everybody else. I didn't do it for me, and that kind of opened my mind. It's like, do I really like boxing? Why did I stay for so many years? And so from that point on, I wanted to answer that question, and I realized, and that's why I became one of the best fighters at that time, because I realized that I love boxing, and that made me train harder with joy. That made me feel like even the pain was like, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Like I embrace all of it because I love boxing. Back in the days, I just hated it, and I would drag my feet when I wake up in the morning. I'm like, man, I gotta run again. I gotta do this again. I would drag my feet every single time. And when I realized that I did love boxing, I enjoyed being in there. And it's important to love what you do, and be given that opportunity. And I think that's the difference between now, is because I learned to be grateful. I learned to be grateful for little things, regardless whether it's good or bad. I'm still grateful for the experience. Whether I lose, I'm still grateful that I got my health. I think that's the difference between the mentality, is no one is telling people how to become mentally strong. And to become mentally strong is being grateful for life, being grateful for the little things that you have, the little things that you do for yourself. You wake up in the morning, you can't even look at yourself in the mirror because you're like, man, I don't like that person. As compared to like, man, I'm grateful for that person. I'm grateful for that dude right there. I'm grateful for the things that I do in my life. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't spend time to be grateful. And I think this is why it's causing so much mental health, because they're taking the bad stuff and they wallow in it. They dig themselves deeper, as compared to, I'm like, well, you know what? Thank you for that lesson. I appreciate that lesson. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna get to a point where I'm helping other people to look at the brighter side of life, because that becomes a choice of how we think and how we become as a human, and that's how we create character. We create character because we're grateful for the life that we have, for the little things that we have. People just let that go so easily, and this is why they stress out. And yeah, man, I'm very passionate when it comes down to that.
No, but that's powerful. That's so powerful what you said, man. And yeah, I definitely heard the passion without a doubt. But super powerful, bro, because we live in a world where people are looking for instant gratification every minute of their life. You know what I mean? Social media, just makes you feel like I don't care how good you're feeling. You can go on social media and find people who are living so much better than you, and it just put your whole life into a negative perspective. And sometimes people don't understand, like, bro, a lot of that stuff on social media is make-believe, and your life, which is a quality life that you're living, and you're laughing with your family and you're living your life as a great life. Don't sit there and let Meek Mill doing Papa Willie's up the road with $250,000 worth of jewelry around his neck convince you that you're failing in life, bro. That is an extreme situation, and it's not promised to everybody, bro. But the people who love you tell you, having people who love you is an important thing. And why is it? Because people who love you validate you and know that you're worthy. If they love you and they see something if they love you and see something in you, you know what I'm saying? It gives legitimacy to your life, and that's priceless. There's no amount of money that can replace that or make that better. Money comes and goes, right? You can have it today and it could be gone tomorrow. If you predicate your life's happiness and fulfillment and success based on how much money you get or how much you can flex or whatever have you in front of people, then you're bound to fall into a state of depression, because that shit will go. it will come and go as it sees fit.
And a lot of y'all ain't ready to go to them P. Diddy parties to get them chains with them 4-wheelers.
Talk about it. That sacrifice is a little too high. That's a high price. That price is a little too high. So y'all might want to reconsider and start being happy eating that macaroni cheese, fried chicken, collard greens at home with your family, laughing about the stupid things that your kids is doing, and understand how a lot of people around the world would kill to be in your shoes, for sure.
Yeah, and I think like that's the thing. Like if you look at like Ryan and what's falling apart in his life, and you guys can look up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like our needs are, air, food, shelter, sleep, and then safety. So he has safety, and by safety I mean employment. He has resources. Health is kind of questionable at this point, but he has, financial stability and safety, right? But that's just the bottom two. The third one to come up is love. Well, he's just getting divorced. He has a brand new baby, and he's now getting divorced, right? And then you go up to self-esteem, respect, status, recognition. Well, his recognition and status and respect flew right down the toilet hole as soon as Tank knocked him out. And then it didn't help when he did the turtle shell in his next fight.
Well, ultimately, all of that was people can give it to him and people can take it from him.
Turtle shell.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, like when it comes to the very base layers of the foundation, he has those, right? He has the financial like needs, but there's a reason why, he's gone to a bunch of seminars and things like that. And you see multi-billionaires, millionaires, people that, Tony Hsieh was at one of them before. And we'll look at Tony Hsieh, all the money in the world, had all these other things, but then self-realization was the one that was evading him. Fulfillment was evading him. Love was evading him. So all this, the glitz and glamour, it doesn't matter. Like, and I think that's where we're looking at it a lot with social media. Yeah, he's driving this nice car. He's over here in Beverly Hills. He's rubbing shoulders with maybe someone else is better to rub shoulders with at this point. But like like these guys, like what we think is the basis of life and what would supposedly make you happy isn't. So back to your question does he love boxing? I think boxing gives him the second tier of being safety financially, right? But I don't believe that love is what I think he's missing that aspect, because he's expecting, and you shouldn't expect when you love, he's expecting boxing to love you back. And we all know that boxing is the worst mistress to have. She's scornful, she's mean, she doesn't care how much sacrifice you've given into this.
Yeah,
she'll drop you at the drop of a dime. And even that, boxing fans are very fickle. You lose one and you're, what do they call it?
You're done. You're done. Yeah, you're scrub. You're a bum. You're a bum.
Yeah, you're a bum.
Just like that, right? Just like that.
One and done there with.
Don't do it for me no more. You're not that guy, and go to the next guy. Just like that.
You know, and that's the thing. And again, overall, when it comes down to it, his love and his happiness is directed by the people's support and people's I guess hate or not hate but dislike. You know what I mean? So if it's more this way, he's happy. When it's more this way, he's unhappy. You know, and that's not the way to live life. I mean, you know, a lot of the kids nowadays and the people just overall, you know, not even I've seen guys who are 50s, 60s who are just unhappy with life, you know, and because they've never realized for themselves that they have the choice to be happy. It's always been within us to make a choice to be happy rather than make a choice to want something, but you'll never get there. Guess what? You're frustrated and you're unhappy with life, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's good to dream. It's good to visualize. It's good to dream about it and close your eyes and have all that stuff. And you know, but at the same time, you got to be real with life. And the biggest thing that you can bring with you is the relationship that you have with your family, with the people that you love, and the way they love you. Because for me, I never had to look behind my back because I never done nobody wrong. And secondly, everybody has always been there for me. You know, no matter they always tell me, no matter if you fall, bro, I'm gonna pick you up. You know, and I've always been that type of person. I've had that character where people have my back, and I, you know, and I never have to worry about anything else. And I've never reached out for anything else, but I've always made that choice to be happy every moment that I can. And don't get me wrong, being human, there's a lot of things that goes into our head, you know, and there's gonna be days that you just gonna feel like crap, you know, but doesn't mean that you can't make a day meaningful for yourself. You know, people just give up at the sight of setbacks, at the sight of just not being on the wrong waking up in the wrong side or getting up in the wrong side of the bed or whatever, you know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just, you just got to be strong, man. Mentally, we always have that choice to be. That's something that God has given us, is we have choice to be happy regardless of what outcome that our life is happening.
No doubt, no doubt.
Is it safe to say, real quick, Clay, that it's like Nonito said, like the struggle's real, and us knowing that the struggle's real, like, you know what I mean, we have to set goals, and like I said, that support system has to be there, from every, you know what I mean, from everything, from fans to other things, and we got to separate this world of social media from our real lives. I mean, we all have real lives outside of this, and you know, whether we're professional boxers or trainers. We drive trucks, or me, I'm back in school, right? Because I wasn't satisfied with the way my life was going. I needed to make a change. And yeah, there were some moments of depression, but I never felt to the point where I ever seeked harm to myself or to fall. And I'm not like separating myself from anyone. I'm not better than anybody by any means. I'm just saying that, you know, I look for sources and I look for help, and I talk to people to help me make decisions or watch them and see how they're living their lives. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This looks good. Let me try this over here. Let me try that, because trying doesn't hurt. You can try and fail as long as you're trying. The point is, failing only does two things: it makes you stronger, or it shows you that you need to try again and climb another mountain, because they're all there for us. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And I appreciate everybody giving their intake, because it's very important for people in general, because these things are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you out, Clay, but I think the very, very thing that I would advise people, and just, you know, from my heart, is the biggest skills that you can create in your life is gratitude. When you can be grateful for the little things, every setback is only a setback. You can always step forward, you know, because you know what? This is a learning lesson. We can move forward. I'm grateful for that. I have my life. I can go forward. You know, that's the thing that eludes a lot of the people, is gratitude. Just even the littlest thing, man. I promise you, when you can learn to be grateful for the little thing in life, just a little thing, even the setback, even the dark part of your life, you know, because that brought me to become a world champion. Because, you know, I didn't have food growing up. You know, I didn't have nothing growing up. I was made fun of growing up because I didn't speak English. You know, everywhere around me, I had holes in my shoes, or I didn't have, you know, my pants and all that stuff, and people made fun of me. you know, and I was okay with that, but because it brought me to be stronger, you know. At that time I hated it, but now I can say now with a lot of gratitude that, you know what, man, without that I never would have worked harder, regardless what my intention was, because for me at that time, in my head was like, I'm gonna make these people pay for laughing at me, you know. I'm you know, it was anger, but I used it as something, instead of like, oh man, I'm never gonna be nothing, you know. I'm, you know, instead of just burying myself down, you know what I mean, I reached out and I use that, and because of that part of my life, I can be grateful for all the things that I have. Even I teach my kids, you know, when somebody is helping them out or anything like that, when you shake your hands, make sure you're looking at them in the eyes, you have that confidence, you shake them and you say good morning or hello, my name is this and this and that, you know, with confidence. And I think that's very important for to create character for the younger generation. But mainly, I believe the biggest aspect of why I'm just in a different level in my life is because I'm grateful for my life, you know. And I appreciate you guys, man. I gotta feed these kids, man. They're always eating. So you know, I really love this conversation. Thank you guys for having me here, and my wife, you know, and to everybody out there. And definitely we'll come back again, man. Sorry to cut this short, but I gotta feed these guys, man. They eat a lot. So appreciate you guys again, man. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you coming. And I know your day's busy, and I know you got stuff to do. I appreciate you spending the time you did with us, man. Salute to you. Salute to Rachel. Rachel, I know you dragged him up on here. I appreciate you, Rachel, dragging him on. You made him go get a hat. You made him go get a hat. You know what I'm saying?
No, I sat down and he's over here like trying to, you know, talk on the mic. That's why I was like this, and I'm like, and then you said, "You're gonna talk, right? Just get on the camera."
That's funny.
I know you made him go get that hat, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I made him play songs.
I think me and Clay were talking about going to what was the convention, WBA convention, Clay? We were talking about going down.
Yeah, something coming out there, you know what I'm saying? Coming out there to Vegas.
Coming out, hanging out with y'all.
Oh, and where is it this year? Is it in Florida?
Orlando, right? I think.
Yeah, it usually is. Like, I mean, they've had it there for the last 2 years. But yeah, I mean, it's an experience. All of them have different ways of conducting their conventions. So I mean, if there is the other sanctioning bodies conventions within the US, I suggest you go to those too, because they all run them differently. So, and it'd be great to see you guys. Yeah, let us know. Bring your liver, because we partied up at those things.
Oh,
like that whole AB and Jesse Vargas thing was in our suite, and I was like 3:30 in the morning. Like, you can't be serious. Like,
no, I don't drink, so I'll be all right. I'm the designated driver.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, it's a nice resort. Like, everyone's room is pretty much in walking distance of everyone.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks guys for talking. And I'm sorry we couldn't put more of, you know, I know you guys had other stuff that you guys were talking about, but but I'm pretty sure I'll see you guys next week. Because I told Claymore already that we're gonna, since Nonito's been gone with Michael Zarafa. So if y'all don't know, Nonito's been coaching Michael Zarafa in Australia for 5 weeks. He's fighting Lara on March 30th, and I've been single parenting for 5 weeks. So tomorrow, since we homeschool the boys, we're gonna teach him about snow and teach him about gravity, what happens with snowboards and falling, and you know, inclines or declines, I guess you would say, and all that other fun stuff. So we'll be out of a reception area, and hopefully there's not too much craziness that goes on. Real quick, Claymore, did you want to talk something about that PBC Canelo thing?
I did. If you want to hang out, I was literally trying to segue on there. I was trying to get to that and segue on there, but I don't want to hold you up at the same time. But I definitely didn't mind talking about that Canelo leaving PBC, coming back to PBC, and now PBC seeming to be able to coordinate a fight that the fans actually want to see. Wanted to get, you know, your opinion on that, and what does that say for the PBC, and what does that say for Canelo Alvarez at this point?
Okay, so I'll leave it on this. The reason why I didn't say anything about PBC and about Canelo was because of the fact that, you know, like there were so many people that, you know, I'm insider and I know everything, and guess what's happening? Ha 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 ha. But if you look at the bigger picture, which is not that big of a picture, we only have Matchroom, Top Rank, Golden Boy, and PBC. That's the four that are the big players right now, right? So Canelo, let's just say Canelo already had sued Golden Boy for, you know, for not fulfilling their contract with on the DAZN platform. And then, you know, from there, then you had Top Rank that doesn't really care about Canelo. And then you have PBC who gave him fight minimum and Matchroom. So that being said, you really only have 2 players that are willing to pay you around what you want to be paid. So if you're pissing off PBC and saying like, well, you know what, I don't want to fight that guy. You're not trying to negotiate what guy they want you to fight. And you're saying it has to be this guy. And that's the end of the story. The thing is, here's the problem. Now you don't have another option. Here's your option, Matchroom. And if I was Eddie Hearn during this time, if a couple days ago, I would have just, this is, I think what happened. Eddie Hearn was like, well, I'm not going to pay you the $35 million. I'm going to pay you $25 million. Because who's going to go up against me? The only person who's willing to go up against you is PBC, and you don't want to fight the guys that they want you to fight.
Right.
So now you're stuck in a rock and a hard place, because this is not a plethora of places you can go. You don't have, first of all, you're not, let's be honest, he's not on the younger end, the younger part of his year that someone like Top Rank would be willing to invest in him and have a healthy ROI. Whoever's investing in this portion of his career has a high risk versus reward on the money. So looking at that retrospect and who is able to play, which is only 2, I knew there was going to be some type of like step back and like maybe let's date again kind of period, because of the fact that he stepped out of the box. He's like, okay, you don't want me to pay me this? Well, I'm going to go over here. And they're like, well, so we actually want you to do this and that. And he's like, wait. I thought you were to treat me like a king. I thought you were going to give me what I believe I deserve or whatever, and let me fight whoever the hell I want to fight. And they're like, actually, no, they're only willing to pay this and that. He's like, oh, well, if you're going to do that, then I might as well just go back to my ex-girlfriend. Does that make sense, Claymore?
Yeah, no, 100% makes sense. I think at the end of the day, you know, I've been covering the PBC thing because for me, it's like they haven't been putting out fights. So I've questioned the structure of the deal that they had between Amazon Prime and themselves. But always, and I think people sometimes get it misconstrued. Sometimes when you ask the hard questions, people just feel like if you ask the questions, you're hating. But it was just a question I needed that I wanted answers to, but always rooting for the PBC to be a successful platform. They have way too many fighters on under that banner over there to not be successful. That would not work for me as a boxing fan for them to fail. I want to see fights happen, but I also question how legitimate the deal was, and also if their approach to boxing was something that was sustainable. You know what I mean? Paying the fighters like they did and getting the fighters, getting the fights that we want to see as fans. So it didn't shock me that they got Canelo Alvarez back. I always knew that was a possibility, but it did it more so shocked me at how much Canelo, in my opinion, how much concession he did. You know what I mean? For them.
You just found out that the girl that you found on Tinder was a catfish and not that pretty. It's like, I thought I was in this for more than that, and they're not. They're like, okay, I'll just go back to my ex-girlfriend. I'll say I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was no one else on Tinder that swiped right or left. I don't even know how that goes.
Right.
I'm gonna go before my children eat me.
They'll come and get you. I know they will. So
yeah, and then ping me, whatever. But it's great talking to you guys. I hope you have a great night. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Thanks, Claymore.
Rachel, hopefully we see you next week. Thanks. Peace.
Bye.
All right. Take it easy.
I'm gonna bring Jose back up here, and I'll put it back out there if anybody else.
Go ahead. Just drop that bombshell you just said.
But hold on a second. I want to address something. So I don't know what happened with Hoodrich. I think Mazuma got some issues with Hoodrich. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
It's not necessarily an issue. He just he talked shit about me. Talk crazy about me every opportunity he get, and then he come around trying to salute people. Get him the fuck up out of here. We don't do that fake shit. Don't nobody talk crazy about Claymore. Nobody talk crazy about Ray or Claymore on my channel. Don't nobody talk crazy about any of my moderators on my channel. And that's just how I give it up. And if anybody with a wrench got a problem with it, then then y'all priorities fucked up. I guess they over here talking about we men, so we should just tolerate disrespect. From where I'm from, men don't tolerate disrespect. So I don't know what I don't even understand what these people's I don't understand their angle. So it is what it is.
I think at the end of the day that I mean we know Hood Rich from Blue Channel. I don't know about Southpaw, what he be doing over there. I'm not too sure what's going on, but hopefully y'all can iron out those details at some point. But I didn't know what happened. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? It seems like there's a lot of. It seemed like there was a lot going on in the chat. I had to keep the straight face because I was watching.
Ain't nothing serious. It's just simple shit.
No doubt.
Who is Brett? Let me shut up, bro. Bradley's 68. Like he's trying to make it seem like it's okay to disrespect other people. Like, what are you talking about? He said we men. Why you keep talking about we men? Men don't tolerate disrespect. And you talking about that he disrespect you tonight? What does it matter what day he disrespect me? Disrespect is disrespect. If somebody smacked the shit out of me and I try to retaliate, they be like, "Oh, but did he smack you today?" No, it don't fucking matter when he did it. It is what it is.
Right. That's for sure, man. We can't listen, bro. We can't get in the middle. Oh, hold on a second. Is Frequent in the building? Frequent, you here?
True. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got the original panel in the building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you guys for being so patient, for allowing Nonito and Rachel to get some time. I didn't want to overwhelm them, and I didn't want people cutting them off. I wanted to give them a chance to get it off. That was boxing royalty right there. If y'all don't know, now y'all know as far as who he is. That's a future Hall of Famer for sure. Done great things in boxing. And I'm hearing through the grapevine there might be some other things that he might be, doing as well. He's working on MVP. He's a commentator on there, and she told you already that he's also training Zarafa, who's going to be on this March 30th card as well, fighting against Zarafa's fighting against Laura. Yeah, Laura, for that WBA title. So, it was a pleasure to have them on here, man. Definitely a
much
pleasure
respect
to have them on here.
Nonito and Rachel.
For sure. But staying on topic for what we were talking about, actually, Canelo Alvarez in the PBC, and bringing that full circle right now to seeing that that the PBC was actually able to get him to give us the fight we want. Like, supposedly I'm hearing that David Benavidez is part of this deal, right? It's part of this conversation right now as far as the way they were able to get him to Jaime Munguia for the Cinco de Mayo, and that we should be looking forward to David Benavidez possibly in September. How do we feel about that? I mean, once again, like I asked Rachel, how do we look at Canelo Alvarez, and how does that make PBC look at this point for the year that they've been having to have this breakthrough?
I won't believe it till I see it, man.
Right.
I didn't know Benavidez was in there. I thought it was Jamal Charlo.
For sure.
I won't believe it.
I think what it is Canelo stepped out and thought he was the hot ticket and realized that, oh, wait a minute, I can't go over here because we got bad blood over here, and these people over here ain't got no money. So, and these people over here want me at a huge discount. I can go back where I was and get just give up the home team discount and still get my bag.
I don't think it was about the money with Canelo and the PBC. I think it was about the opponent that they was trying to make him face. He wasn't trying to face who they was trying to make him face.
Correct. He wanted to fight Charlo. That was his plans to fight Charlo, and
he was ducking.
And he didn't. No, he had his 3-fight deal was an option of Benavidez at the end of the third fight. Regardless of how you look at it, it was already said in his 3-fight deal that he had not that he had to, it was optional.
Right.
But at the end of the day,
I thought he wasn't in the deal. Then that was the thing. I thought it was both Charlo brothers and Errol, but it was supposed to be Errol Spence, but Errol messed it up when Bud beat him.
Okay. It was okay. So no, it was Earl or Charlo and Benavidez. So it was basically that's the way it was supposed to go because they wanted to move Earl up into that second fight if he had won.
That's too many. That's too many fighters, though, right? When you count them, because it was supposed to have been Jamel Charlo first, then Jamal Charlo, then Earl.
No, it was Jamar Charlo or Earl in that second fight.
Well, wasn't it supposed to be Jamal first? But he wasn't.
Yeah, Jamal was definitely.
So he gave the fight to his brother, right? That's what he said, right?
And then it was the smaller guys in the second fight. It was either Jamel or Earl, and however that was supposed to play out, and it didn't play out the way they wanted it to play out.
So when he left, when Canelo left, I thought he was leaving because they was trying to make him fight Benavidez, and Benavidez wasn't originally on the contract. Because if he was already on it, then that part don't make sense why he would leave. If he was already
Benavidez was optional on that contract.
It was an option, the third option.
So it wasn't a guarantee, but it was an option, and he didn't want to exercise that option.
No, that's not it either. He wanted to fight Charlo as this fight, and they didn't want him to fight. He said he wants to fight an American, and he didn't. They wanted him to fight Munguia, because of whatever the payroll or whatever the structures wasn't going into their payment plans. So he decided, I don't want to fight him. Forget about it. I'm going to go do business elsewhere. And whatever came back to the table saying, yo, this is what it is. I guess I'll stay here. At the end of the day, Rachel kind of like solidified the whole thing with the money stuff. So it doesn't matter what happened then. It matters what happens now. So that's the way I look at it. And we'll see what happens in the future.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. Tap in.
Yo, man. Appreciate y'all having me on the live, man. It was a great live. This is I ain't gonna lie to you. I think this is the best live you had so far, man. This is absolutely phenomenal. And I appreciate you, I mean, getting me involved with the whole situation with Nonito and Rachel, just getting my name out there, man. Appreciate you very much, man. I had to do the same thing for you when Bill Haney came on. You know, I made sure you got your questions. I was able to chop it up with Donaire. I appreciate you returning the favor, my brother. It's not really even a favor for real.
It's just automatic.
I mean, appreciate you giving me the opportunity, man. I'm about to get ready for my live in a little bit, man. So I got to formulate some topics. You know what I mean? Get that all together.
You should put your link in here.
Yeah, drop the link in the chat.
Yeah. So
I'll do it for you.
I'll get my live started in like 10 minutes or whatever. So, yo, Clay, appreciate you having me on, my brother. You already know you're welcome to come on my channel anytime. Same thing applies for you, Ray. Shout out to the chat. You know what I mean? I'm out of here, man. Appreciate y'all.
Don't forget to drop your link, man.
Salute, bro.
I'm gonna do it for him right now.
What about the panel, bro? You ain't
What's
shout
up?
out the panel.
No, he did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You totally right, my brother. Yo, shout out to the panel and shout out to the chat, man. You know what I mean? I hope y'all have a blessed night, man. Peace.
Same
Peace.
Salute. If I still be up, I'll try to come through there. Check him out.
My God, bro. Zuma's actually like you know what I mean, like my foundational. He's the guy who convinced me to make the channel, to be, in all honesty. He was like, you need to do this. I used to come up on his channel. He was like, you should come up with a channel. We're going to help you pop off, bro. You crazy, man. And then I'm doing this because of him. I ain't going to hold you. Not because of him, but he really put the battery in my back. So, yeah, but
it's kind of shocking that for me that it's still Munguia, you know, because when he was trying to go over there with Eddie Hearn and them, Oscar De La Hoya and that's what who they was trying to get him to fight too, right? Munguia. And now he's back to the PBC with the same guy.
Yeah, right.
But I think they wanted him to fight Munguia for a discount, you know.
I don't know if it was a discount so much, like Ray said a little bit earlier. It wasn't about the money as much as it was about who they wanted him to fight. And I got to give PBC their credit, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of stuff I want to see from a promotional platform. I want to see them hold the fighter to task and let him know, like, nah, bro, you're not just gonna skate over here. We're gonna pay you all this damn money, and you're just gonna fight nobody, bro. You're gonna fight. You know what I mean? You're gonna make a historical legacy fight on this platform for us to shoot you all this money. And I'm glad that they called his bluff. That they told him, like, if you think it's sweet over there like that, and you think you can go make this amount of money and go fight nobody, prove us wrong. Go over there and do it. And they let him know early, like, we ain't gonna pay you that. And he had to come back and he had to concede to something that he made public. And I think this is very important. The fact that he made that public And he said that it was going to be an American fighter that he's going to fight. And we all know how hard he tried to not get in the ring with David Benavidez. I don't care what nobody says. He did his best and his darndest to not. The sanctioning bodies weren't going to help us out on this situation. They were going to let him do what he wanted to do. He was not going to fight David Benavidez. And if PBC didn't put their foot down the way they did and give him that ultimatum and show him better than they could tell him, we wouldn't be talking about a potential David Benavidez fight come September. So we got to give the PBC their props for that. And also, we got to salute them for making, although this year's been dead and all we're looking for is I'm still not a fan of this Tim Tszyu Keith Thurman fight as far as being a pay-per-view fight. This was a good look for the PBC, man. This gave hope. This is hope, right, for sure.
All right, real quick.
Well, it was a date they had already had, circled on the calendar.
Hold on, Dre, hold on.
Hold on. So Rachel just dropped in the chat a tweet that was from a while ago with Canelo stating that these fights coming up is not, and this is Canelo speaking, he doesn't know what the other two plans for the fight are. It was Jamel and whatever came next. So that cancels everything I just said, Jose. So I'm gonna stand off on what I just said because I was just corrected by Canelo himself on Twitter. And thank you, Rachel, for that. Shout out to Rachel because that was big. Thank you so much. Hopefully we get the fights that we want. And it actually kind of speaks on it. So if you guys want to check that out, please don't leave the chat to do it. You know what I mean? Stay here. But if y'all want to check that out later, please do so because it's good to have information like that. Facts over fiction, guys.
For sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, go ahead, Big Dre. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, see, that just ruined my whole thought because I figured that they were already had the 3-fight deal set up for him. But when you leave the PBC and they held his feet to the fire and said, just because you are who you are, we are the promotional company. We got these dates circled on the calendar, and we have already planned on these dates, and we know we got these dates because they're the same every year.
Right.
And now you want to, at the 9th hour, step out before, we can solidify this. And I think it just made it puts him back where they wanted him to be. And then again, it solidified a date, and it allowed them to reset the undercard and keep it moving.
Right.
Hold on a second. I'm actually going to play this right quick. I think this is what you wanted us to play, right?
Right.
Pretty much. Canelo kind of speaking on his position with the PBC and how that was going to work out.
What was the biggest reason you signed the 3-fight contract with PBC?
You guys can hear that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Here we go.
What was the biggest reason you signed the 3-fight contract with PBC and Al Heyman? Why at this point of your career was it important for you to?
I think it's a good fight in PBC, and I always like to work with good people and the best out there. I think PBC is one of the best.
And the 3 fights, do you know who the next 2 opponents will be?
We don't know. We 100% focus on Jermel, and then we want to see down with Al Heyman and see what is next.
Thank you. What was the biggest reason you signed?
Okay, that's what happened there. For sure.
You got me.
For sure.
So they do it like they say. It's a fight-to-fight basis then, right? I mean, but they had to know something.
So what it looks like, what he's saying in there is that he has to sit down with Al. I think he tried to put the date that he wanted, and PB said, no, that's not happening. I think that's what's happening. They're like, no, you're going to do what we say, or you can take a walk, and then you lose this money. What he do? He went and searched, and they gave him the opportunity to shop. Guess what? Like Rachel said, they was like, "Oh yeah, listen, you're only gonna get this over here, and you know you're not going there, and we know you're not going there. Burn bridges here. This guy ain't gonna pay you. We'll pay you, but the only people willing to pay you for the fights is that the people you just walked from across the street from. So what do you want to do? He said, I'm going back to that corner over there.
Or His Excellency might have stepped in.
Don't
I know people hate they hate to hear about him, but he exists.
There you go.
He's not a fairy tale. He's not a fairy tale, bro. Nah, man. Shout out to PBC for this power move that they made. It was really some boss ish that we got to witness happening. The way they handled that, a lot of people were, even me, I had my doubts about their ability to bring this full circle. So to see them show out the way they did and stand on business the way they did, and basically show you how to do this game, man, how to play this game called promoting, managing, and doing big business. You know what I'm saying? They had Canelo got really, in my opinion, Canelo really got he met his match. Like Al Heyman really stood tall against him and was like, nah, fam, I don't know what you thought or what you heard about how we move over here. We're not Oscar De La Hoya. We're not Eddie Hearn. We're not Bob Arum, bro. This is the PBC. This is Al Heyman. This is how we gonna carry it. And when you're ready to act right, the door's gonna be open to do some real business.
No, hold on. Do you got that scratch record sound on queued up? You gotta hit that.
I don't got that, but
because I don't think Canelo got over because.
Hold on,
baby. You want baby? I know that.
Al Heyman knew that.
No, I think Canelo, he got over. He got what he wanted because they was trying to make him fight somebody else. He wanted to fight Munguia, and now he about to fight Munguia. So I think he got his way. I think he flexed on them.
He didn't want to fight Charlo.
He wanted to fight Charlo.
Bro. He didn't want to fight Munguia.
No. He it's not that he wanted to fight Charlo. He just didn't want to fight Benavidez.
Okay.
It was about what he didn't want to do. They tried to make him fight Godzilla like they always do. They say, we're going to give you that. They say, we're going to give you this money, but you got to fight Godzilla. Then you got to fight King Kong. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm not fighting Godzilla, bro.
They be like, the devil's a lie. I bet you do. I bet you go out there and make 20 million. You go make 15 million and go fight Edgar Berlanga. If that's what you want to do.
That's why I said that's why I said Canelo flex, because now he's fighting Munguia now.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, he could have went to Top Rank.
He's fighting Rodan.
$5 million.
He ain't going to Top Rank. We already got that answer.
Yeah, he ain't working with Bob. That's for sure. Bob ain't going to get no Canelo money. That's for sure.
Bob the same age. We already got that answer.
It's going to be Eddie Hearn, to be honest with you. It's going to be Eddie Hearn. If he would have left, that's where he was going to go. It was going to be the Eddie Hearn.
He did good business with, besides PBC.
Yeah, he
Randy,
don't like
you just called me the same age as Bob.
No, I did not. I said Canelo the same age as Bob. Why are you taking it?
Dre old as the sun, moon, and stars, bro. He said he been watching boxing since before I was born.
Yeah, Bob Arum was there with Bob Arum worked with Muhammad Ali, bro. That dude is ghost.
Listen, let me tell you something. When Dre said that, I looked at his picture. It really looked like he looking at me like that.
Anyway, but guys, look, I ain't gonna lie, man. We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna give you guys, if you guys want to make some closing, some closing arguments or statements or whatever, or just want to say something nice about me. You could always do that too.
You sure you don't want to play the spar tape, the spar video before we go out?
Bro. Honestly, I probably should have thrown it up a little bit earlier, like way earlier. I should have threw it up a little bit, but I don't know.
Tomorrow, throw it on tomorrow.
We would have been still talking about. We'd have still been talking about it right now. We would have never even got through none of the show like we did. We'd have been sitting here right now, still talking about that spar. Guy, we'd have played that video on here. Oh my God. I don't know how many rewinds, slow it down, wait, look, don't you see? Wait a minute, zoom in, don't you see? We'd have been doing that all night, bro. So I'm kind of
phantom grabs and stuff. The phantom
I am so
knee
tired
buckles.
of that video.
Bradley said,
yeah, but I just want to say,
No.
This one ain't a sparring tape, but this one is very similar. I got a chopped and screw tape for you, Clay.
Bradley said, great show once again. And that's why we need Bradley in the building. Y'all understand how much I value when Bradley says shit like that, because he keep it so 100 and he always coming for your head that when he say something like that, it holds weight. When he says great show once again, when Bradley 68 says great show once again, it holds a lot of weight with me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hold you because I know he ain't got no problem being like, boy, you trash. Take your boy, you trash.
Well, Bradley, your biggest critic.
There you go, Clay.
Bradley, my biggest critic, but he gonna celebrate me. You know what I'm saying? When he gonna celebrate me when I'm supposed to be celebrated. I appreciate him for that.
There you go, Clay. That's a chopped and screwed shape for you, and you can do what you want to do. I think I got it from you though.
I hope this not Pedraza, bro.
Oh yeah. This is the one I sent to you. This is definitely the one I sent to you.
That is a chop. This is look.
Listen, fellas,
don't go nowhere just yet.
Okay.
It gets better.
I don't know how I switch it over. Hold on, let me see something here. How do I switch that over?
You gotta close this one, right?
Is that what I gotta do? Close that. Oh yeah, that's what I gotta do, and I gotta reopen it. I got you. I know how to do it. Watch out. Hold on. I got this.
Ready?
I got this, man. Video fine, share screen, boom, boom, and boom, and
look at this. Oh man, look at this. Oh man, look. Oh,
hold on.
What
That's my boy Malachi.
I know who it is. Boom! Oh man! Boom! Oh, look! Miss! Look! Miss! Oh, missing! Woo. Oh shoot! You sound like Mickey Mouse. Man. Ooh, look at these angles.
That's Davis. Spins at it here.
AB got in the middle again. You see that?
Yeah, that's how that went. So it looked like Javante lost that fight, bro. I don't know. I don't care what the referee said. It looked like he lost that fight. It looked like he lost that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Ray Davis.
Anything can be painted, people. That's all I'm saying. Any picture can be painted. That's all.
That was a Bob Ross right there. Bob Ross.
Yeah, anything can be painted. Yeah.
Yo, guys, it was an awesome show. I appreciate y'all showing up. I really have the best time. I think I got the best panel and the best subscribers in the game. I think we got real boxing fans that come here who want to talk about boxing. As you can tell, we go across the spectrum. We don't just hang on one topic too long. We talk about it all, man. We love it all. We're pro boxing, so we're always going to be on the side of making fights happen. And as long as you're on that side, you're gonna love it here, man. But if you want this to be just a one-sided, radical fanatical type energy, you're probably not gonna like the content. And we appreciate you stopping by, but we don't mind seeing you leave either. Anybody?
Just be different. Don't get nobody no closing statements or nothing. Just cut us all off.
All right, no doubt. Peace, and we out.
Salute.
Salute.
Man. Y'all have a good night.